Yes.
There has also been an issue of enforcement. Enforcement is necessary in order for KCCA to get the taxes, in order for KCCA to maintain the city as clean and organized.
Yes.
But the enforcement officers are high-handed. They are dragging women by the clothes and doing all sorts of issues.
Yes.
How do you intend to handle that issue? Because whereas we need enforcement, we also need people alive, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. Just a bit. There's a problem in Kampala. People who do reinforcement are inhuman. They're not the way they handle the Batembe, the way they handle the people who are selling their things everywhere on the verandas and everywhere. It is terrible that I don't think they get clinics for how to treat the law breakers. They need to be trained how to handle people. They need a big store with a cold room where they take what they have impounded. Right now they have a store in Naguru, which is I don't think it's a good store. If they have taken vegetables, then there's no cold room. The vegetables are gone. This person is taken to court and the business is lost. So if you go to Naguru, the system which handles people's goods that are impounded is wrong. That is one. If you find them they take bananas, they eat them. They need training. They need to know that I have impounded something and this is not my product. It's not my good. It is someone's good. If he's a lawbreaker, we'll work on that.
Okay. There is an issue that KCCA seems disconnected, especially the political wing of KCCA, which you intend to lead, seems disconnected from the private sector. Yes. You people are all campaigning for the lowest earning people, but Kampala is the central business district. There are businessmen here who also want you to say something to them. What do you have to say to them?
Well, the businessmen, we need to have a connection between the businessman or the landlord and the tenant. Right now, there's a very big difference between the person who pays and the one they pay. People pay in dollars. The landlords feel they have high interest rates in the banks. They need someone who knows how to do business. We need leaders who are not only political. We need leaders who are businessmen. We need leaders who understand the reality. Because I'm a businessman, I'm a musician, and at the same time I'm a politician. So it means I can put things together. There's a lot that we can do for these people. The business community in Kampala are facing a lot of property tax. It is high. They're facing a lot of problems from the tenants. Now, after the COVID, we're in the new normal. The property tax would be waived. Would just take that off. That's a dead year. That's one. Two, the way things are done, it is not about helping the people. It is about taking away from the people. I want to put it together so that the gap between the business people and the leaders and the leaders of Kampala changes.
Well, the incumbent Lord Mayor of Kampala says this office has no power. You're saying a lot of things. Do you think you'll
I'll say something. If this office has no power, why is he campaigning again? Where do you go where you don't work? Why do you tell people you're going to help them when you know you don't have power? I think there's a lot of power in this office, and I think recently, 2 months ago, they launched the new land board. If you don't have power, how do you launch a land board for Kampala? So there is power in the office. There is everything in the office, but the people in the office are sleeping, they're in slumber. If they wake up, there's a lot that can be done in Kampala.
All right. Well, Daniel Kaziwe Ragadi is the National Resistance Movement candidate for Lord Mayor, and I think it's time for you to go and vote now. We'll be following you to your polling station so that you can cast your ballot. That is the candidate who is flying the yellow flag of the National Resistance Movement. Well, I think the press wants to have an interview with him as before he goes in for his voting, and we you will certainly be following this story. And in a few moments, I believe Daniel Kaziwe, also known as Ragadi, will be casting his ballots, one of the many that he will get. He has tried once before to be Lord Mayor of Kampala, and he has failed. This time we wait to see if he will be successful, but that will only be decided after the ballots have actually fallen. And in a few moments we'll get back to see him actually going to cast his ballot as he continues with this press interview. Let me hand you back to the Political Command Center, and we'll be back shortly.
Thanks, Daniel, for that update, and we're waiting to see what events follow thereafter. Now, like the presidential race, the Lord Mayor race also has 11 candidates and 1 female. Nabila Nagai from the National Unity Platform, and the other candidates are Daniel Kaziwe, aka Ragadi, Jose Chameleon, an independent candidate, also known as Joseph Mayanja. We have a 23-year-old candidate who is also on the National Unity, Alliance for National Transformation. That is Yakubu Mayanja Musazi. 24-year-old Michael Evans Mugabi, who is contesting as independent, and also a senior 6 leaver of Old Kampala Senior Secondary School. We have other candidates like Eliasu Kwago, who is incumbent, coming in from the FDC. We have James Charles Senkubuge from Democratic Party, Isaac Sendagire independent, Eddie Bazira Chibalama independent, Ben Lule independent, Joseph Mayanja independent also, and Innocent Kawoya, who is also an independent. 11 candidates on the race, the top seat in City Hall. Let's see how that turns out later on by 4 p.m. when the votes are to be counted and tallied. Let's now connect straight to Hakim Kanyede. Hakim, there was a scuffle earlier where you were assaulted while you were trying to film some of the ballots that are allegedly pre-ticked. What's the latest update from that particular polling station, and also the new polling station that you have moved to? Have you been able to register similar cases like you did earlier?
From Walukuba, there is a polling station at Walukuba police station, and that's where I was assaulted from when NUP supporters allegedly saw some ballot papers that were carried in Kavera, and the ballot box was unsealed. So when I was called on site, that's when the officers who are manning the police station and also the polling station, because they are within the same compound, and also the UPDF officers did assault me, led by the area OC, who is a new commander, by the way, in the area. So he didn't know me, but I told him I'm a journalist, and he just ordered his men to assault me, and then I was detained briefly, but after making some calls here and there, I was released. However, right now I am at PMM, a girls' secondary school. There are about 6 polling stations here, and of course voting is going on. The voting exercise is on, but actually I've observed that there is low voter turnout at most of the polling stations where I've moved here within Jinja City. And of course we are having a number of candidates. Earlier on I said we have 6 candidates, but I need to correct that. We have 10 candidates in the race, including NRM's Robert Kanusu, who crossed from the UPC, and also we have Dr. Frank Nawiso, who is flying the FDC flag. We have NUP's Alton Kasolo, and then we have NET has a candidate, and a number of independent candidates. DP fronted Ivan Tivankana, who was the LC3 chairperson of Budondo before it was annexed into the city, and because right now Budondo is no longer sub-county, it is now part of Jinja City. So here in Jinja, elections are going on peacefully, I can say, though I've talked to a number of candidates. They think there are a number of irregularities that have taken place so far, because as mentioned earlier on at the Waluka police post polling station, where the ballot box was unsealed and also the ballot papers were carried in Kavera, though the elections are taking place at the same polling station, despite the fact that some of the candidates had earlier wanted that polling station to be cancelled, and they may be postponed the election of that particular polling station, or it should be cancelled totally. But the NRM camp did put up some efforts and they ordered the exercise to continue going on. So that's what's happening in Jinja. But generally, the situation is calm. But as I said earlier, there is low voter turn-up here in Jinja. I don't know, maybe people shall come up later on, but so far, there is low voter turn-up at all the polling stations have moved around. I would like our viewers to maybe excuse me because my shirt is looking like this. I was assaulted. It's not by design that I have not buttoned my shirt, but I was assaulted earlier on. Back to you at the Political Command Center, Canary and Midred.
Thank you, Hakim, and may you take some rest, a few hours, so you can reorganize yourself. Hakim Kanyera, a reporter, was assaulted by a number of security officers who were actually around the polling station as he tried to film some allegedly pre-ticked ballots. Hakim, thanks a lot for that update. Let's now cross over to Nansana, where reporter Jordan Mubangizi is. Jordan, talking about voter turnout, where you were earlier on in Kawempe, there was some good turnout because maybe it was a business center. Let's take a look at what's happening in Nansana. What's the update? How is voter turnout? But also, are you very familiar with some of the irregularities that could have happened around that area, if there are any anyway?
Yes, Canary. But first of all, I would like to tell my colleague Hakim Kanyere that it's quite unfortunate that he was assaulted, detained, and all that. But that's the nature of this job we do. It's not for the faint-hearted. Neither is it for the you have to be thick-skinned. So take heart. These things happen. Here where we are in Nansana municipality, Ocheng Zone 1 in Wakiso district. Of course, coming in from Kawempe, we keep traversing between Kawempe and Wakiso to see what is happening there. Where we are, the picture in the background shows you that either there was voter turnout or at least voting is almost over. And when we asked the people around here, they told us that most people came in the morning and they will only come back in the evening when vote counting is about to take place. Where we came from in Kawempe, we are told there were scuffles earlier on, and we are yet to go there and find out what exactly it was. But allegations are that there was a group of people who were distributing money in form of bribery. In other words, they are waylaying voters on their way to the polling stations, and money was being given so that those persons could vote in the favor of the candidate. We are yet to know, and because of that, another group who suspected that something was going on, something unacceptable, they also attacked them, and there were scuffles. We are yet to go there and find out what is happening. But here in Nansana municipality, where we are in the Cheng zone, it has been peaceful all through because there's heavy police presence and the military are patrolling heavily to see that it goes on smoothly. From here, we return to Kawempe to find out what the scuffles were about and see if we can also talk to the polling officials there about the suspicion of bribery and what exactly happened. It's
Jordan. Let's now connect to Joseph Sabiti, who is live for us from Nakawa. Joseph, Nakawa is such a business hub. People are busy, but it's also a hub for some of the people who are in the informal sector, borders, taxis, and other people. Is it like any other place in the country that has registered a low voter turnout? Because it's one of those constituencies and divisions in Kampala that has a big population. What's the update from Nakawa, Joseph?
Well, look at the ballot boxes, it looks like a significant number of ballots have been cast here from Nakawa division offices. But basically, if we are to bank on the lines and the number of people here, I think that it's minimal compared to the last time that the country went to the polls on the 14th. And so it's anyway still early to tell. Probably by the end of the day, the numbers will increase. But I can say that it is clear that the turn-up is likely to be lower in this election. The situation has been in about 10 of the polling stations that we have been able to sample, and so we're counting down to 4 p.m. when polling stops and tallying start. And it's here that we've seen a lot of people actually outside the polling stations, probably trying to monitor the situation here. Calm has been the situation in every polling station that we have been to. We've also been trying to look out for how the polling officials and people who are voting are playing to the COVID-19 rules in the middle of this pandemic. I can say that here you can see that all the polling officials are actually wearing their masks properly. Occasionally, voters walk in chin masking. I think that's the disease that has, hit Ugandans the most. Someone wears a mask and puts it on the chin, and they're very confident that they're wearing a mask, and that's the only downside that we have registered in all the polling stations we have been to, but the numbers are few, so the question of social distancing and crowding, I think, has been absent in the 10 polling stations that we have been to, and the situation is largely peaceful based on the samples that we have so far been able to reach.
Thank you, Sabit Joseph. Katika tugende kwe Masaka, msajja wa Kabaka Farish Magembe, tubulire kyekifeeyo ate nga okulonda kw'okutambudde kutya abantu bejjumbidde mu kulonda, n'ekirala tubulire lwaki omubaka ow'e Bukoto East Florence Namayanja asazeewo ave mu Parliament okukiikirira abantu be ab'e Bukoto East adde ku bwa meeya. Farish.
Well, kanale webale nnyo n'alaba NBS mu kaseera kano. Ekituufu okulonda mu bitundu ebisinga wano mu kibuga Masaka kubadde tukunnajjumbirwa nnyo, wabula ate bwe tuuseeko mu bitundu ebimu ebyasalibwa ku disitulikiti ezimu nga Lwengo, Bukomansimbi, Kalungu ne Masaka, gy'oyinza okugamba nti Masaka eri yasangibwawo. Ebitundu ebyo eby'ebyalo bw'otunulakoko mu bifo ebimu ojja kulaba nti ate yo okulonda abantu mu bitundu ebyo ebyagattibwa ku Masaka okwawukanako ne wano mu municipali enkadde emanyiddwa. Mu bitundu ebyo byo abamu bagezezaako okubanga polling stations ez'enjawulo zetuuseeko bagezezaako okubanga bajjumbira okujja okulonda nga bosobola okubanga olaba emabega wange wano olaba ennamba gye tulina emabega eyawukana ku nnamba ezibadde mu polling station ez'omu division zino esatu ezaaliwo nga Masaka tennaba kugattibwako obanga tennaba kwerevetingibwa kufuulibwa kiboga ekinene. Ensonga nnyingi zoyinza okugamba nti oba oliawo zeziwaliriza omubaka Florence Namayanja okujja ate okubanga aleka ekifo kya Bukoto East ate ajje abe nga yeesimbawo okuvuganya ku ntebe eno eya meeya agenda okubanga asookera ddala okulembera ekibuga kino bukya kisuumusibwa okuteekebwa ku ddaala ly'ekibuga ekinene. Emu ku zo gyawo agamba nti Masaka ono emabegako mu ntalo ze zituze tubaamu yayonoonebwa, kale nga nti obukugu bwe yalina ng'akyali deputy mayor Kampala ne bw'alabye ng'ali mu Parliament, zimu ku nsonga z'agamba nti zagenda okukozesa obukugu obwo then okulaba nga Masaka agezaako okubanga agatako ettaffaali sinakindi Masaka kiddemu okubeera nga kifuuka ekibuga ekinene. Naye ne banne baavuganya nabo ensonga bawa nnyingi naye ng'ezisinga ku bo kulaba nga ekibuga Masaka kiddamu okubanga kizimbibwa. Wano wendi bwenvaawo nsuubira okweyongerako mu division eya Nyendo Ssenyangi oba oliawo abasinga mu kaseera kano gye batadde amaaso ku byokulonda nga bagamba nti we wayinza okubanga wali obutabanguko mu byokulonda mu kitundu kino eky'e Masaka, naye nga mu kaseera kano okulonda kubadde kukyatambula bulungi yonna gye tuyise Kanali Mugume.
Tuanza nnyo Farish Magembe. Well, the current Member of Parliament for Bukoto East, Florence Namayanja, who has served before actually as the Deputy Mayor in Kampala, is now on the National Unity Platform party on that ticket, and she crossed over from Democratic Party and now she's on NUP contesting for the mayoral seat in Masaka City. She's standing with a candidate from Democratic Party called Charles Kabanda and also NRM's Wills Bamwesi Mbabazi, but also an independent candidate, Emmanuel Luasa Kawesi. The other independent candidates include Robert Kawesi, Francis Semugabi, Pius Chiriowa and Muhammad Sembajja. That's quite an interesting race to look out for, and very many people actually think that the opposition political parties are very strong in Masaka, especially Democratic Party, where Florence Namayanja came from, and National Unity Platform.
For a long time, Democratic Party was very much, into the areas of Masaka. You had the likes of Matthias Mpuga, you had the likes of Mbide, who is still there, although chose to still support another presidential candidate, even when he is a vice president of the Democratic Party.
Did Mbide go through, or
No.
I think Abed Bwanika took.
Yeah, Abed Bwanika did. Okay. Mbide didn't take up that seat. And then also, after the formation of the National Unity Platform, the mass crossover from the Democratic Party to the National Unity Platform did very much affect their stands in areas of Masaka, but also has greatly reduced their numbers in the parliament. Because remember, the likes of Mukono municipalities, Betty Namboze were as well all still a part of the Democratic Party, and now it has almost by half reduced the numbers in Parliament that will be coming through in the 11th Parliament. Let's get more updates. Eddie Enuru is coming to us live from Soroti. Eddie Enuru, it's almost coming to lunchtime. Is it an indication that probably during the lunch break, many people will continue to turn up for the elections?
Thank you very much, Mildred. Like I told you, this is the first time Soroti resident going to this type of voting. Of course, the mayoral seat voting. I would like to confirm to you that yes, the voting started in Soroti well, despite in a few polling stations where there were some incidences of ballot exchange. Some of the ballots that were supposed to be in that particular polling station, like for example Central Avenue B and C, all those polling stations, their ballot papers were exchanged and taken to another place. But I confirm to you that that all situation normalized and the voting started on well. But I also want to tell you that it is not as I expected before. The turn up right now, the pace at which the voters are coming has gone a bit low. There is the turn up is low. I can confirm to you. I am particularly in this polling station called Akisim. This is Soroti City Akisim Community Hall, where a total of over 588 voters were expected to cast their vote here. But I can tell you, out of 588, only 73 voters have already casted their votes. So that is an indication that the voters seem not to be taking this serious compared to the presidential voting that happened last week. I want to tell you that in most of the polling stations by now lunchtime that have gone to it is the same case as you can see here on my background. It is the same case, voters. There is a low turnout. I don't know what it indicates. It was expected, Soroti being the new city, and of course the excitement of the city coming in, and now the mayor seat. The expectation was that people of Soroti would come in to vote in big numbers, but this is not the case. By the look of things, I can confirm to you that the turn-up here in Soroti City is very, very low. We will keep you updated, we'll keep you posted on what will happen right here in Soroti. Back to you, Mildred, at the Political Command Center.
Thank you very much, Eddie Enuru, for that update from Soroti. Well, you can clearly see Canary right behind Eddie Enuru. It's quite a spacious polling station, but yet empty.
It's as empty as what? As the ballot boxes.
Many of those. And remember, Canary, this is the price of democracy. That if you can never get to determine and say, okay, we do expect just about 50% of people to turn up, so let's print less ballots. You actually have to print more.
I agree.
Ballots.
I think that
ballot papers. Yeah.
I think that the Electoral Commission needs to digitalize the system. I know it's a little bit of quite a difficult thing to do because you'll have cases of irregularities, pre-ticked ballots. I think the system needs to be digitalized so that I can vote from wherever I am. And
actually,
voting
that
can go on for a whole week so that I am able to vote on mail, I'm able to vote on the internet. I know people are actually able to manipulate the internet, but if they can manipulate ballot boxes and
everything can be manipulated,
anything can be manipulated.
Yeah,
I don't see what the fear is anyway.
Yeah, so we just have to put checks and balances and measures to ensure that whereas there are loopholes that could be taken advantage of, we try to, mitigate.
Absolutely. You and I did IT. We know that you can only scan one ID that has your specific code or let's say the NIN number. So if I scan my ID or if I just put in my NIN number and I vote, and also maybe scan my thumbprint on a machine or whatever it is and vote on the internet. Wouldn't that be possible? Wouldn't that save time? Wouldn't that actually increase rather voter turnout? I think it's something the Electoral Commission needs to look into, but first it has to first shift its offices from Kampala Road, Ginger Road, where
What's the problem with the offices and the voter turnout? Seriously. Of course, they definitely need a better place.
After these elections have been announced, the next phase of discussion will be around where to put the Electoral Commission offices, because the Kampala flyover is going to use that particular
that very place
around Centenary Park and yeah.
And it would be great to have a home of their own, not to rent. I mean, we lose billions and billions of government money in, renting out. We should borrow a live.
I think they should put the offices far away from Kampala.
The city center?
Yeah. I mean, we have 10 cities now, so.
Oh, yeah. One of the cities should house the National Electoral Commission or the Independent Electoral Commission. Anyway, let's move on and get you more and more updates. We will be getting to speak to Henry Mujenyi, who will be telling us what's happening where he is. Henry, webale kubeera ng'otwegattako nateera obudde bwa Maria ga Chamisana abangi beebuuza nti buno obudde bwe bwandibadde bukozesebwa oba bwe buyinza okuba nga bukozesebwa abantu okujja okulonda oba embeera ekyali nga bwe yabadde ku makya nti abantu tebajjumbidde nnyo okulonda kuno.
Mildred munnange sembuddeko essaawa zino ntuuse Buwama naye era Buwama embeera teyawukanyeeko nga bwe badde mu bitundu ebyenjawulo gye mpita. Bwe nabaddeko empambire abantu babadde ba muswabo ekyo kimu nekyalabikiseko e Kammengo, naye kati wano e Buwama senga oba osobola okulaba emabega wange abantu bakyali ba muswaba ddala nga twebuuza kiki lwaki abantu tebalina moral ya kulonda bakulembeze baabwe ng'ate bano be bamu ku bakulembeze bwe bagenda okuba nga bakolagana nabo ku kitundu kyabwe kubanga babasemberera nnyo okusobola okutuusa ebirowoozo byabwe eri abakulu. Naye era abantu wano e Buwama bakyali ba muswaba nga gwe bosobola okulaba emabega, naye ng'era embiranye ekyaliwo wakati wa LC5 wenyimiridde Masanja Stephen wa NUP wa LC5 councillor, Sempija Joseph wa NRM, Balye Jusapo wa Independent okujjako ku ba women councillors, Kose Nakabazi onajidde ku NRM aleseewo okuvuganya okw'amaanyi wa munne Maxensia Nagawa. Naye kyensobola okusuubiza nti tujja kuba tukuleetera byonna ebigenda mu maaso wano e Buwama era ngenda kusembulako nzireke wala ndabe ennonda y'abantu eriki. Wabula ekizibu kye tufunyeemu wano abamu bagamba nti amannya g'abantu oba amannya g'abeesimbyewo bagatabise omuzungu kyasobola okuyita mixing, omuli abamu erinnya ly'omulala omulala ne bamu erinnya ly'omulala nga kino kibadde kireseewo akavuvumugo era tulinze Electoral Commission kyenaaba yogerako oba akalulu akamma n'akongerayo oba naye tulinze okulaba ki ekivaayo ewa Electoral Commission. Kuzizaayo wamunange Mildred Tuhaise.
Wow, nga sinaba kuvaako Henry. Ebintu bwe biti birabika nga bibaddewo kubanga ne Simon Kabagambe yatugambyeko ekyankwanzi akalulu kasaziddwamu kubanga omu ku ba candidate oba omu ku beesimbyewo teyasobodde kubanga alabikira ku kakonge kano ate nga alina okuba nga alondebwa tannava mu kalulu. Ogambye nti eyo wabaddewo mixing oba okutaataganyizibwa mu manya bubonero kubanga n'ekyobubonero kyaliwo mu kalulu k'okulonda abakiise ba parliament mu Mwenje North ate era tukyalindiriddeko okulaba ddi akalulu we kayinza okubaayo. Electoral Commission eyogera ki ku kino ate w'okiddiramu obulungi omulabi waffe ki kyennyini ekibaddewo mu mbeera eyo ey'okutaataganyizibwa eri abalonzi?
Kati nga gwe Mildred Tuhaise nojja ne bakuwa nga weesimbyewo ne bakuwa erinnya ly'omulala gwe weesimbyewo naye ow'ekibiina ekyenjawulo. Kati omuntu ajja anoonya linnya lya muntu we ng'amanyi nti ono yeesimbyewo ku kaadi bweti lyerinnya lye lino, naye kati mu nsonga eno amannya galabisenga kati Mildred Tuhaise ne bakuwa erya Mugenyi Henry mu kiko ekyo kyekiri wano e Buwama.
Ennyo okuwulira kubanga ekyo sirabira ddala nga tuyinza okuba kubanga face webeera ya Mugenyi nga kuliko linnya lya Mildred ani ku bombi gwe mba nnonze linnya oba face. Webale nnyo Henry, tulabika nga ekyo kiri ku polling station ki Henry? Bw'oba otuddiramu polling station ki eyo? Henry, okyasobola okuba nga ompuliza? Wow, Henry alabika atuvuddeko naye kibi nnyo nti mu kalulu kano ak'obwa kansala ne bammeeya ate tulaba bingi nnyo obuvungo bungi amannya ga njawulo ebifaananyi ebimu tebiriiyo. I think there is a lot that Electoral Commission needs to deal with. Due diligence, and I still take it to supervision. What exactly could have happened?
Nekachugwe munango oyinza okulowooza nti kino kye kisoose okubeerawo mu buno bwe buti kyatuukako ndowooza wiiki ewedde mu bululu
Mwenje North, yes, parliamentary.
Ejja kuddamu kulonda ndowooza ku Monday
nga 25 weewaawo
next week. Kati ndowooza Electoral Commission erina okuvaayo etunnyonnyole bulungi kiddala lwaki
n'ekirala kye twebuuza muntu y'omu eya printing obukonge buno oba tugambe nti kampuni za njawulo ate kijja kitya nti zibeera kampuni za njawulo ate ne zisigala nga zikola ensobi ze ezimu oba webeera kampuni y'emu twasalawo tutya okubeera nga tukkiriziganya okukolagana ne kampuni eyo ate nga ensobi nnyingi.
Nedda ndowooza Electoral Commission yagezaako okulaba nti ballot papers oba obululu buprinting bwa wano naye nga kampuni zaawo ne ziri loko tezaalina busobozi, so contract eno ne bagitwala ebweru. Kampuni zaali 6 okuva mu UK, okuva mu US, okuva e Dubai ne Abu Dhabi ndowooza kampuni zaali 6, so tulina okunoonyereza ddala kampani kiddala eya printing obululu obwo ate obuvuddeyo nga bwina emivuyo mingi.
Naye ate sikiriziganya na kyakubeera nti tujja kubanga tugamba nti akalulu tukaddemu Uganda ejja kusasula nedda. Bw'obeera nga oli kampuni nga tewasobodde kubanga okola kintu kyo nga we twakikuwa okuggyako ng'obuzibu bwava mu abo abaawaayo amannya nti kanale bamuwadde erinnya lya Mildred eri kampuni kubanga eba tebamanyi temanyi na mannya gano nga we gali, so kye baweebwa kye bateekamu eringa computer garbage in garbage out okuddako ng'ensonga eri bwetyo tetugenda sisuubira munnayuganda abakkiriza nti ssente zino zigenderaawo nga te kampuni yeekoze ensobi twonoonya obudde tulina okuddamu okulonda obwo budde bulala obukozesebwa essente zo nnyini ensimbi kubanga si nsimbi za kuprintinga bukonge buno bukka n'ensimbi ez'okuwa ba polling agents ba returning officers bonna awamu.
N'ekirala waliwo ensimbi ezaaweebwa abo aba Electoral Commission okugenda mu nsi zino ballot papers where they were printed ate baamalayo ebbanga ddene nga bali mu supervision bali mu monitoring naye ddala abantu bano singa bawa ssente okulinnya ennyonyi bagende mu nsi zino biki ddala biba monitoringa biki ddala biba supervisinga.
Bayinza okuba nga basinga baafa nnyo ku kalulu k'obwa president ne bamember of parliament ne tubeerabira ebirala
oba ne bafa nnyo ku padium
neto kisobera kawalawezi kabeera kanjiko. But we continue to give you updates across the country as we get to have the local council as well as mayoral elections taking part across the 146 districts, including some of the cities, of course, the newly created cities including Jinja, Mukono, I beg your pardon, not Mukono, Jinja, Masaka, Arua, Gulu, and many others, of course. Let's get to Arua now. Arua, a city to take a look at what is happening. It is lunchtime, Sanjimara. Arua, is there any change with regard to voter turnout? And which polling station are you at now?
Right now, I'm here in Zambia, that is a windy ward. And the voter turn-up has been an issue today here in Arua because I've been around the city looking for what could have changed. And some of the polling agents are WhatsApping, others are taking a nap because it takes you 30 minutes or an hour to see someone walking into a polling station to cast their vote. But Mildred, I've been to Vura district, that is, in Arua district, that is Vura. And the situation there is kind of different because there you can maybe be there for 5 minutes and then you see someone walking in and another 5 minutes and another person walks in. So it's a little bit different from what is happening in the city center. There the race is between 3 people contesting. There is a Okwanzi Alfred on NRM flag bearer, and then there is a Jerry Abejwa, the independent, and also Mike Angunda on the National Unity Platform ticket. They are tussling it out to see who is going to be the LC5 chairperson for the Vura or Arua district. They are back to you at the political command center.
Bawa, Thank you very much, Nsanje Mara. Let's cross over to Julius Nabimanya in Kamwenge and get to know. Well, Julius Nabimanya, there quite seem to be a number of inaccuracies across the country, including in Chankwanzi and bits of Wakiso, where Mpiji, I beg your pardon, where Henry was. What is happening in Kamwenge? Because in the earlier elections, we did see discrepancies as well in Mwenje North. Take us through.
The Kamwenge district have just started voting. I think 20 to 30 minutes back. Voters were quick to be at their polling stations at the expected voting time, that is 7 a.m., but they had to wait for 5 hours, and those who could not maintain that patience had to go back without voting. They did not vote because some of the voting materials were missing, and most of the ballot boxes didn't have registers, so the electoral officials who were in these polling stations could not begin the process without registers. That's what is going on. But they have just started in the last 20 minutes, so the process is moving on well now. I spoke to those who were waiting on these polling stations. They said they suspect that some of their members of parliament, they accused actually them for conniving with some of the electoral officials with the aim of reducing votes of one of Agre Nathamia, who is the incumbent and NRM flag bearer, whom they allege that has got a lot of support in this very sub-county, so they are trying to delay the process so that some of his supporters don't vote. However, I tried to trace some of the accused members of parliament, but I failed to get to them, and we are not sure whether these allegations are true. We are still on ground to make investigation and come up with what really happened to delay the process. But in other areas in Kamwenge town, voting is going on well, and there is security, there is people are turning on, they are voting, but it is only with sub-county in Kamwenge district that has delayed the voting process. That's what is in Kamwenge Midway at the moment. Updates will be coming to other subsequent updates. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Nabimanya, we will definitely be coming back to you. It's quite absurd. The elections in some of the areas are starting almost 7 hours into the voting or polling time. Remember, it is coming to 4 and closing time for polling will be at 4 p.m. Let's cross to Wakiso, where Mordecai Marisa is. Mordecai, I know that you've traversed a number of polling stations. What similarities and differences or comparisons can you be able to draw so far?
Well, the comparison and the similarities is low voter turnout. And now I'm in deep in Wakiso. This is Wanka polling station, deep in Wakiso. And you can see from my background, there are almost no people who are here to vote. And I've been able to count those ones that I've seen with my eyes, at least around 8 or 10. And according to the conversation I had with some of the people that live within this vicinity, they said that they are going to first go to their gardens to work, and after they will come and vote, and that will be around from 1 o'clock in the afternoon up to around 4, and that will be the closure time. And I engaged with the electoral officials who are here, and this is the presiding officer, Mr. John Kasumba, who is telling us about why people are not turning up. What's the problem?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mordecai. People here, some of them were overexcited because they voted whom they wanted, and some of them are disappointed because they lost. They thought that they had won, and then the announcements were so different from what they were expecting. Yeah. So
at least you've been here from 7 o'clock in the morning, and now we are headed for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you think they are going to come out and vote?
I do believe they are going to come, because from the people we've heard, they have told us that they are going to first go to their gardens. Some of them are going to first go look after their animals. So that I believe by around 2 to 3 they will be coming for voting. But as per now, we are having 540 voters, but so far we've had 80 at this time. By this time, so I believe at least half of them, or a quarter of them, will be voting by 4. By the time it will be closing.
80 is a small number compared to the number that you have. Let's talk about security within. Has it been calm as I see it?
Security has been so tight but it has been calm. It has been friendly. We have not had any scuffle with security. Yeah, it has been so well with us.
Thank you so much for allowing speaking to NBS. Yeah, so Mildred, that is what is coming in, and that is the presiding officer of this particular polling station, and that is what he has to say about why people are not showing up. And one of the people that happened to come and vote just a few minutes is going to be sharing with us why. Seruganda, webale nnyo kubanga okkiriza okwogerako na NBS. Tukulabye ng'ozze ekikeerezi, oba oyinza okuba nga tozze ekikeerezi naye olowooza nsonga ki omuntu yandiyagadde okumanya lwaki tookedde kusuula akalulu n'ojja mu kano akaseera?
Sebo webale nnyo omukulu. Ekizibu kye tufunye oba kye twafuna abantu baggwamu essuubi akalulu kanga 14 baakalinamu essuubi, so yensonga lwaki olaba turn up naddala wano ku Buwanuka Primary School abantu batono nnyo era anawangula ku munne ayinza obutamusubususa bululu 10. So abantu baggwamu essuubi baali basuubira nti akalulu kaabwe bakawadde Kyagulanyi naye olw'embeera gye kaayitamu, so abantu bako actually waliwo n'abatalonze nga balowooza nti ne kano kajja kuyisibwa mu mbeera eyo ssebo.
Webale nnyo kubeera ng'oyogerako ate ne NBS. So that is it. His words are not any different from the presiding officer's words, who said some were extremely excited when they cast votes for the president. Those ones that support President Museveni were like, no, we do not want to vote for any other person. And those that probably supported Amuriat or Boy or Kyagulanyi or any other candidate, they were disappointed and probably thought that the result might be the opposite or exactly what they got from the presidential and parliamentary elections. But we are here and still traversing Wakiso district to find out what will be happening across different polling stations. And so far in Wanuka Primary School polling station, it is very disappointing to see that a few people are voting. Over 400 they have, only 80 have been able to cast their ballot, and we are waiting to see by 3 or 2 or 4 how many will be here. Will it be a half or will it be more than a half? We shall keep you posted or updated with what will be coming in from Wakiso district. Back to you, Mildred.
All right, thank you very much, Mordecai and Marisa. We will now be heading over to Bunyoro, particularly Hoima, and get to find out what is as well happening. Cuthbert Chigozi is standing by. Cuthbert, it is close to 7 hours into the election, meaning that we have less than 3 hours or thereabouts to be ending this poll. What is the voter turnout like? Do we expect probably during this lunch break to have better and more people coming and turning up for the elections?
Well, Mildred, I'm in Chikube district, not Hoima this time round. But now in Chikube, I can tell you, yes, the voter turnout was low. But now there's something different and that has come, that has affected the voting. And that is an among 3 polling stations where a group of young men have stormed 3 different polling stations so far. And actually, after storming the polling stations, they got the ballot papers. They predict a candidate of their own, of which the candidate up to now has not yet been revealed. And actually, as you see right behind me, the voting has stopped in the polling stations of Chidede Muslim Primary School, Buhimba Full Gospel polling station, Chugwera polling station, and also other polling stations will also understand that the ballot papers are done, and that is actually the whole situation here in Chikube district. It is about low turn-up, people storming polling stations, and of course, pre-taking the ballot papers. And of course, we are also talking in some polling stations where we are seeing locals are complaining that the ballot papers are over. Of course, we've tried to reach out to the district regional returning officer of the area in Chikube district. Of course, he has declined to pick our repeated calls. We've talked to police. Of course, the part-time police spokesperson confirms that yes, there has been a group that has been storming polling stations, but for them, what concerns them is security. It is not what happens with the ticking. As we talk as of now, no more voting voting is on a standstill. We're not seeing people voting. We are seeing actually a wave of shock that has gone through Chikube district, where people are scared, saying, who are these people? Why are they doing this kind of action? But of course, the security agencies are trying to see that they handle the issue of the insecurity I'll talk about, because the RDC Amlantum Sim of the area also says they're trying to see that they work upon to identify who are these people going to polling stations, taking ballot papers. And of course, the police also says that they're trying to see that they beef up security to try and curtail or cap down or get these people just before everything, the situation goes out of hand. As we talk right now in Chikube district, it is about
a wave of shock that has right now taken up all the people here who are not now coming out to vote, but they're just scared what may happen next. We are following the details, and of course, once we get more confirmation or more feedback from the Electoral Commission, we shall be able to update you in our subsequent bulletins. Mildred.
All right, thank you very much, Cuthbert Chigozi, for that update. Let's now cross back to Julius Buchana, who is in Ama, to give us more details as well. Julius, well, what does the day look like? Because where Mordecai was, 400 people, only 80 have so far turned up. Is there any difference where you are?
Mildred, when you mentioned the name Nama, it seems like an upcountry name and a village. But we are just in Mukono. It's a village called Nama and a sub-county called Mpoma in Mukono district. And one polling station that I can easily confirm is registered with about 450 voters who are supposed, 420 voters in this very polling station, which is A to M. The polling station right here is supposed to have 420 voters. But according to the ballot box where they're supposed to put the ballots, it looks like less people have so far voted. The presiding officer refused to talk to us earlier, but I can confirm less people have voted because the three of them that have come, it has taken us 20 minutes to observe this polling station. In a period of 10 to 15 minutes, about 2 or 3 people check in to come and vote. In the next polling station, which is N to Z right here, has about 750 voters with about 4 ballot boxes. And I can confirm in a period of 20 minutes, this polling station has received about 6 voters. And I don't know whether the 750 voters will be coming in time because it's now coming to 1 p.m. And in the next period of time, we will not be seeing more voters because the voters in here say they first go to their gardens and then later resort to voting. And voting has not been something good to them because one of the leaders has said that there has not been a lot of advertisement and encouragement to people to go and vote for their local government positions because all they know is the president, the MP, and the LC1. Somebody later told us that this polling station had 10,000, hundreds of people who came into this polling station to vote for the LC1. But for the local government, they have seen a low number of voters come. They have been telling people in the shops, in the trading center, to come and vote, but it has all been in vain. So we hope that the low turn-up is the talk of town, and there's more need of the Electoral Commission to publish and also advertise more in the voting of the local government. But we're stationed in Mukono district in Mpoma Nama, and we hope that we will be bringing you all the updates that are happening in these very polling stations. Mildred?
All right, thank you very much, Julius Buchana. Thank you for that update. Well, it's quite unfortunate that there are not so many people who are turning up for the local council, and these are the lower administrative units for the country. But myself and Kanarim Gume will be taking a very short break. When we do return, we'll continue to give you more updates from across the country.
Double data. Airtel introduces double data. The biggest deal ever on smartphones in Uganda. Buy a smartphone, 3G or 4G, and get 100% data bonus from Airtel. Airtel is giving you 100% bonus data on all weekly and monthly bundles for every new smartphone connected to Airtel for the first 3 months. Dial *175*9# to enjoy double data. Double data, double data. Oh. Airtel, the smartphone network, regulated by Uganda Communication.
Welcome to Afro Mobile, the king of Ugandan content. It's a mobile app with all of your favorite programs in the palm of your hands. Latest breaking news, video on demand, live streams, music, sports, lifestyle and entertainment. Play, pause, rewind, download, and even share all of your favorite shows from up to 15 TV stations, 50 radio channels, and 10 news outlets, all curated from a trusted and resourceful network of journalists. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store to download the Afro Mobile app and enjoy a world of limitless wonder. Afro Mobile. The future is now.
Attention!
Looking for something to make you feel good? Boy! Get with the vibe on 106.1 Next Radio. This is what we mean.
Your number one radio station.
It's an audio-visual experience like no other. On dial, online, on your phone and TV. We are
106.1 Next Radio.
It's a vibe.
Lunchtime.
Nyumirwa programu y'enganzi Lunchtime Sports buli lunaku okuva ku ssaawa 7:2 okutuusa ku ssaawa 8:00 ez'omutuntu wano ku Sanyuka TV ne NBS TV kwokka. Lunchtime Sports anti bw'etuuka buli kimu kiyimirira.
Hello, how are you? Tell me, how do you do?
We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Send you for today, and they send you for tomorrow. Send you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say,
Thank you,
thank you, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN Mobile Money, bundles, or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
Star 185 *6#, follow the prompts and make instant school fees payments. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, board.
Welcome to Afro Mobile, the king of Ugandan content. It's a mobile app with all of your favorite programs in the palm of your hands. Latest breaking news, video on demand, live streams, music, sports, lifestyle and entertainment. Play, pause, rewind, download, and even share all of your favorite shows from up to 15 TV stations, 50 radio channels, and 10 news outlets, all curated from a trusted and resourceful network of journalists. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store to download the Afro Mobile app and enjoy a world of limitless wonder. Afro Mobile. The future is now.
To protect yourself from the COVID-19 global pandemic, here are some of the measures you can take to help prevent the spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Practice social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Cough and sneeze into your elbow or a tissue and then throw it away. And if you display any symptoms, stay at home and call the Ministry of Health hotline 0800 100 66 or 0800 203 033. Also, to renew your Roke Internet subscription, please use our digital payment channels, MasterCard or Visa, agent banking, or dial *252#. Stay home, stay safe, stay connected with Roke Internet.
Exactly 1300 hours here in Uganda, East African Standard Time. My name is Kanar Mugume. I am here with Mildred Tohaise. We are talking about UG Votes 2021. We are not done yet because across the country, a number of people have turned up to make sure that they do elect their leaders in their mayoral positions and the councillors in Kampala. We are going to vote the Lord Mayor and other specific councillors. And well, it's quite a low voter turnout across the entire country. Yeah. But we do hope that as time goes on, maybe, how many hours are we left with? That's about 3 hours to 4 p.m. the end of the polling exercise. We do encourage you to still go ahead and participate in this voting exercise because these leaders that you're going to select are actually more involved in your day-to-day lives as you do go ahead and do your everyday jobs and activities in your communities. We're going to connect to, of course, our reporters and soldiers across the entire country. We now want to connect to Benson Ongom, who is live for us in Gulu. Benson, it's not been a pretty good turnout in terms of the voters in parts of Gulu, but you've been able to move around different polling stations. What's the comparison that you can make?
Well, kind of the same old thing that we saw in the morning and then mid-morning and even now. The turnout is quite really low compared to the 14th day poll that we saw for presidential candidate and as well the parliamentary candidate. And again, I want to give you just a short picture coming in from here. This is how it looks like. On 14th day when Ugandans were voting for president and the members of parliament, it wasn't looking like this. The turnout was quite huge, but this is how we're seeing at the moment. This is Old Rosary polling station. I have a couple of polling stations, more than 3. So that's how it looked. But I've been joined by one of the observer of this election, Arthur Owo. Arthur Owo joining us for Live at 1. Arthur, what have you been able to, if you can just look at our camera, what have you been able to notice across this voting day today compared to the 14th when Ugandans were casting votes for president and members of parliament?
Well, thank you so much, Benson Ngom. And observing from what is actually happening today is actually a reflection on what happened on the day people were polling on the 14th. The Electoral Commission was not organized. They delivered materials late. That was on the 14th. That seems to have impacted on the turnout for today as well, in one dimension. But also we've seen the kind of like, in terms of like turnout, people are not coming up in high numbers, probably because of the attention they are paying to local governments. This can actually be interpreted as low attention that people pay to matters of governance at the local government level. It seems to us that there's a lot of priority or prominence given to elections at the parliamentary and presidential levels. And then the third angle could probably be the work of the Electoral Commission. They could have done low or not much in terms of like mobilizing the people or actually giving out voter education to enable people to turn up for elections, as important as this.
What will be the implication, because you have moved to a couple of polling stations, you have seen the turn up, again, comparing to 14th, what will be the implication? Because people seem to be very reserved to vote today.
Yes, of course, there are going to be serious implications. Number one, we're going to notice that the civic competence is actually going to go down. And if we went at such a rate, then in the forthcoming elections, you'll see that people will begin to lose trust in elections at this level, which actually matters to them in a very high way. But also, I moved around to polling stations around Kasubi opposite the barracks, and I saw the men in uniform turning up in large numbers to cast their votes. But in different areas around the stadium, I've been to this polling station and others around town here, you can actually see that mixed gender. I have seen men, women, and a bit of youth. But then in the presidential and parliamentary elections, you'd see high energy, you'd see a lot of people turning up to kind of come and cast their votes. So these are some of the issues that are emerging in the election that I saw today.
Thank you, Arthur. We shall be getting an update from you as you observe today's election. Canary and Mildred, that is how it goes. There will be implication. That is a word from Arthur who is observing today's election. But again, the people of Gulu need to decide. So by 4:30, 5 p.m., we shall be moving to different polling stations as the counting goes. And I shall be telling you who's in the lead. But for now, the contest is between Okwa Alfred, the NRM candidate, Achira Christopher, the FDC candidate, and Alige George, one of the independent candidates that seems to be striking hard to take the leadership of Gulu Mayor position. So that's what we're watching at the moment. We shall be giving that update many more as it turns to 4, and then after 4 as the vote counting goes by. Canary.
Thanks, Benson. And when I come to you later, I want us to discuss the chances of both the NRM candidate, Alfred Okonga, and the FDC candidate, Christopher Achire. Considering that Okonga Alfred actually went through unopposed, but he lost in 2016 for the Gulu municipality mayor race, and now he returns, wants to lead Gulu in local government. That's a conversation that we'll return to in just a bit. But first, let me cross over to Eddie and Nuru in Soroti. Eddie, looks like there's actually no voter where you are at all. All I can see is just polling agents, and they did not turn up. What exactly is the reason for the people in Soroti not turning up to vote? Is it the weather? Is it that there was not much voter education? What do you think is the reason for low voter turn-up in Soroti, Eddie?
Thank you very much, Canary. I can tell you that we have a few hours to the time when Soroti City will, of course, know who is the next leader for the mayoral seat. But Canary, the story here is not any different from the polling stations I've been to. I've been to a number of polling stations. This is my 11th polling station in Soroti City. But the story here, as you can see on the background, the story is not any different from the same. The turn-up is low. But joining me is Madam Faith Amado, who is the presiding officer. Please, Madam, tell us what you've observed and in this particular polling station. This is the Soroti Sports polling station.
Soroti Sports Ground. I'm called Amado Faith, a presiding officer, Soroti Sports Ground. Here in Sports Ground, we opened at around 8:44. The turn-up was so poor, and to my observation, most people are so disappointed. That's why they have refused to turn up well.
What do you think could have disappointed the voters?
I don't know, maybe the last election, the person they expected, something of that kind. Yeah, because really, somebody came in and said, I'll never vote again. Meaning, there is something that is painful in that person's heart. Okay, how many people vote, particularly in this polling station where you are at? There are 438 people, but so far now, the people who have voted, they are less than 100. Yeah.
Canary, that's what I can confirm to you. The story is not any different from what I told you last time when I was in a Kisim polling station. I've moved around these polling stations in Soroti City. So today is a day that we knew people would turn up. Soroti being the new city, and we expected the voters to turn up in big numbers, but the story is not any different here. Back to you at the Political Command Center, Canary.
Thank you very much, Eddie Nuru, coming to us live from Soroti. Katika today ebukoma nsimbi wano mu Uganda Zainab namusazi tubulire kyekifeeyo akalulu kagenze katya ndaba nti abantu at least banjiko abejumbidde mu kalulu eyo ebukoma nsimbi naye nga bobanga oli wakugerageranyamuko okuva ku akalulu kano n'aka last week aka presidential ne parliamentary Bukoma Nsimbi kali katya
Bukoma Nsimbi wegerageranya akalulu ka leero akagwa Meya b'ebibuga tekajjumbiddwa ng'olaba nti abantu bajja mu ssekinnoomu abalondesa ku polling stations ezisinga obungi bakonkomadde nga balinda abantu n'okutuusa kakati polling station ya Meru Primary School.
Do apologize for that technical glitch, but we're trying as much as we can to make sure that we do connect to our reporters Zainab Namsaz in Bukoma Nsimbi. One of the biggest contenders in Bukoma Nsimbi did step down a few days to the nomination day, and therefore now the election really is about the different political parties that are in opposition, considering that there is NUP and then Democratic Party very strong in those areas. Let's see how it goes.
That's very true. But the people will definitely be able to decide. We have about 2 hours and 50 minutes to be able to take the final decision, as tallying will start at exactly 4 p.m. Depending, well, it will start in areas that will not have any more voters in their lines, in their queues. You remember in the presidential and parliamentary polls, there are particular stations that ended their polling at as early as 3 p.m. because there were no more voters coming through. Yeah, but regardless of whether it ends at 3 or 2 or 1:30, at least the tallying has to begin at 4. 4, exactly. Yeah. And I have not seen actually anywhere, from the visuals from our reporters, anywhere where there is a long queue and people are actually waiting in the sun. Not at all. That should be problematic. Is it the weather? Because people actually withstood the weather in last week's election. Is it that they were disappointed by last week's election, that they now see no reason on why they should participate in this? I think also the presidential and parliamentary elections tend to overshadow all the other elections, unfortunately. But also what we talked about, I do not know whether it is part of the issues relating to the low voter turnout, but the fact that the public service did not recognize this as a public holiday, like it was for the 14th and the 15th of this very month. So it's a multiplicity of factors, definitely, and we will wait to see.
Kale, katude Bukoma Nsimbi, Zainab Namsaz, obadde kyatugamba abantu kubanga tebejjumbidde mu kalulu kano.
Akalulu kano wogeraganya n'akalulu akawedde abantu tebakajjumbidde mu district y'e Bukoma Nsimbi ng'abantu bajja kinnoomu naye ng'ate akalulu akawedde wasanga olunyiri nga luva eno n'eri ng'abantu beetegese okuba akalulu kaabwe. Abamu twabalabyeko nga bakwata abalonzi babeegayira okujja okulonda bassentebe ssaako ne bammeeya b'ebibuga. Wabula wano wennyimiridde ndi ku polling station ya Meru Primary School nga wano w'okulonda kusaziddwamu naye nga enteekateeka zaabwe ez'okufuna akulira ebyokulonda mu disitulikiti eno zikyagudde butaka olw'ensonga nti nno mukubira amasimu tagakwata. Ababaddewo bantegeezezza nti poliisi n'amagye bizze ne bigoba abantu ku polling station eno ne bijjawo ebokisi z'obululu ne batandika okutiikinga. Kyokka oluvannyuma ya poliisi, emmotoka ya poliisi n'ejja n'etikka ebokisi ku patrol n'ebanga ezitwala. Abamu ku batuuze ababaddewo basobola otubuulira ekintu kino nga bwe kibadde. Kulamusizza. Jangu wano. Kiki ekibaddewo, incidence ebadde etya?
Nze mbadde nzija bwenti nga ntuuka ku layini kuba tubadde tujja muntu omu ngenza okutuuka ku layini wano emmotoka weetuukidde primo ne paakinga mu muti ogwo ne muvaamu ab'amagye nga buli omu akutte emmundu nga n'emmotoka endala nuwe eri mabega wali maaso ga kereziya naye nga mulimu b'amagye. Kati nenzijja omuserikale n'angamba nti wakyakkirizibwawo omuntu ne mugaa ssebo ngenda kulonda olugalu lwange luno sinnalonda nanga atokkirizibwa kulonda n'entambula n'enzirayo wali. Kati bwe ntuuse wali kukubo n'enkomawo ne mubuuza n'angamba nti okomyewo ogwokubiri linda ogwokusatu n'entambula n'enzirayo naye nga kiri wali abajjidde mu mmoloka eyo ebadde primo bali mu kutiikinga bululu buli omu akutte ballot paper agenda atiikinga. Bwe bamaze ne badda mmoloka zaabwe ne bavuga ne bagenda. Wayisewo eddakiika ssaawa ng'emu bwe mu kitundu ate mmoloka ya patrol ya poliisi n'ejja ng'ekulembeddwa emmoloka ebadde aliya kawundo nga kuliko n'emmoloka endala zizze 3 omujjidde omukyala akuli ebyokulonda waffe mu Bukomansimbi n'atugamba ebyawana abiggaddewo abisazizaamu box n'azitikka n'agenda era wotulabira wana abasinga ffenna situlonze Galiwango Henry omutuuze.
Okay, neyanza embeera bwetyo bweri mu district y'e Bukomansimbi naye nga tugenda kuba tugenda mu maaso batuusaako ebyo ate ebikyagenda mu maaso mu kalulu kano naye nga n'okutuusa kati njagala era okuddamu kibategeeza ti akalulu ko tekannaba kujjumbirwa bulungi. Kamulabi wa NBS TV kankuzeewo mu Political Command Center oyongere okwekenneenya ebyo ebikyagenda mu maaso mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo.
Twanza nnyo Zainab Namusazi Bukomansimbi okutuusaako eggulire eryo eribaddewo ku mbeera Bukomansimbi banamagye biki bye bakoze. Kale, let's cross over now to Arua where our reporter Nsanji Mara is. Talk to us, what exactly is the update? I can see that even in Arua, not many people have turned up to vote. We thought this was a problem of areas around central Uganda and the east, but looks like it has stretched over, I beg your pardon, to Arua. Talk to us, what is the reason for people not turning up to vote in large numbers like they did in last week's election?
Well, I have managed to talk to a few people, and everyone gives you a reason. Some are saying that this is not so important to them, and others are saying that they were discouraged and they can't take part of this election. And crossing back to Madiokolo, where the election was cancelled, the election of LC5 chairperson was suspended, and it's going to be rescheduled according to the returning officer there. And it was because two people who have the same name were disorganized by changing their symbols were changed, and that is FDC Onjima Suleiman and Onjima Bruno, who is on independent. The independent candidate had a clock as his symbol, but he was given a key, and the FDC person was supposed to be given a key, was given a clock, and they said that this is not fair at all. They lodged a complaint to the Electoral Commission plus their supporters, saying that they needed to have this election postponed, which the Electoral Commission in turn said it is okay. They are going to reschedule the election, but for the councillors, it's still ongoing. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Thank you, Sanji. But before I let you go, let's talk about the big contenders in Arua City election. We understand clearly there is, some participation from NRM, FDC, and a number of independents. Let's look at the contenders. Who are the big men and women in the Arua City mayor race? Sanjay, I'm asking, let's look at the contenders in the Arua City mayor race. I understand there's participation from political parties like NRM, FDC, and a couple of independents. And I know one of them is an incumbent, has led Arua municipality for quite some time, since 2006. So talk to us, who are the big dogs in this race? So unfortunately, we apologize for that technical glitch. It looks like we've lost the connection with Nsanji. But let's cross over to Sabit Joseph, who is in Chitintale. Sabit, looks like there's at least some quite fair activity taking place in the polling station that you're in. But would you say that is the voting turnout that you expected?
Well, I think that the turnout looks lower than what happened in the last election. So I think we'll be looking forward to the final figures after the end of tallying later in the day. But clearly it looks like the lines are not as long as they were currently on the day that the country elected the president and members of parliament. And so we're keeping tabs on that, counting down to about 2.5 hours to when voting ends and tallying starts and the realities of politics begin to sink in. We lost my colleague Mara when you were asking about the race for the city of Arua. It's a very interesting race there, Canary, to look forward to, because the three gentlemen who are considered front runners all belong to the National Resistance Movement Party 1.
Because I know you're very familiar with them, we know that most of these are new players, apart from Isaac Kato, who really recently concluded the NRM primaries, lost to Nakawa, and you also have still Kato, who decided to run as an independent, but then there's a little bit of influence of NRM. Now, the NRM candidate there, who is Sam Nakawa, his political career in the district began as early as 2006, which means he's been there for quite some time. Then you have Charles Asiki, who has been the mayor for Arua municipality from 2006 to 2016. Those are 10 years, quite a competitive race. Who do you think, would you call this a 3-horse race, or would you call it a 2-horse race? And who do you think stands bigger or better chances?
Well, let's look at the basics. Historically, the Arua city, let's first put into perspective the fact that this is a new city. So the annexed Aivu County, which is a predominantly NRM stronghold, over the years they have voted for NRM at the presidential level, but voted for individual merit in the different races. And so you'll have, that's a constituency that voted for Dick Nyai of UPC, they voted for Zoba Koko Bakoro of NRM, and then they voted for Benadatiku of FDC, then they voted for Benadatiku, the NRM, and now they have voted for 2 NRM independents. So Aivu County was annexed and 2 constituencies created and added to Arua City. Now that significantly changes the usual dynamics of voting, because previously the traditional Arua municipality, that is now Arua Central Division, was basically predominantly Aringa, predominantly Muslim, and those factors played a big role. So I think that the annexing of Aivu County, the traditional Aivu County, and adding it to Arua City actually changes the dynamic. So the 2 constituencies in Aivu will actually determine who the mayor of the city will be. So I think that it's going to be a new trade, a new election to monitor in Arua. But the 3 gentlemen are all formidable in their own right. Charles Asiki is credited for having actually made Arua to be voted as the cleanest town, I think, on the continent. There was an award that was given to Arua during his time when it was still a municipality. He's also credited for doing an incredible job as the mayor of Arua municipality. He left that seat to run as member of parliament and was trounced by the late Colonel Ibrahim Abiriga, may his soul rest in peace. That is Charles Asiki, and so he comes with that. But Wadrisam Nakawa has been the chairman LC5 of the whole district. And so the 2 Aivu constituencies now that form the Arua city have been part of that constituency. And then you add the municipalities, but also you add the fact that the NRM won all the elective seats in the last election. Probably that creates an interesting dynamics to watch. But also Alhaji Issa Kato is a Muslim and comes from the Aringa community that previously was very predominant in the traditional Arua municipality. That's now the Arua Central Division. For me, this is an interesting race to watch, and I think that there are many factors that are going to play. But again, let's not lose sight of the fact that the NRM won all the positions for parliamentary slots in Arua City. Could that be a pointer of what will play out today? Can Charles Asiki's individual merit outnumber that? Can Issa Kato's incumbency advantage bring something to the table? I think that it is too early to call until we get the final tally at the end of the day, Canary.
Indeed, but just under 30 seconds. So then there's also a factor of FDC, Dennis Maidera, coming into the race. He's only been a district councillor, but you also have Stephen Andama, an independent candidate. He's done business across the entire Arua, and he's influential when it comes to the money. So he's done this and done that. You also have that factor. Do you think that FDC or this other independent, Stephen Andama, would in any way influence the vote in terms of making the second would-be contestant lose some votes, and that would create a margin between the first and the second candidate?
I think that the Forum for Democratic Change in Arua is finding its footing after the departure of Kassiano Wadri, with a team of influential leaders in the party, including the Honorable Christine Abia and a number of leaders. But based on the performance of Kassiano Wadri in the race for Arua Central Division, it looks like the FDC will have to look further than just that factor. I think that the race is going to go down to the 3 gentlemen we were talking about earlier. All of them members of the NRM, all of them previously serving in positions of authority within the wider district. I think that if I'm to cast my net, I'll cast my lot on those 3 gentlemen. One of the 3 will take home that race. But again, the politics is open to surprises. But I think that if I'm to base it on the analysis of the situation on the ground there and my understanding of the politics of Arua, the traditional Arua district and traditional Arua municipality, I think that I'll put my money on the three gentlemen that we were discussing, both of them belonging to the NRM, but also with the factor of NRM's performance in the last election. I think that the money will be not far from the NRM flag bearer. But again, that's just my projection. The people of Arua municipality, I beg your pardon, the people of Arua city have the final say on who will be their mayor in the city.
Thank you very much, Sabi Joseph, for that update from Chitintali, but also a little bit of an update from Arua politics. Let's now cross over to Gerard Matembu, who is going to give us an update from Mbale. Gerard, I understand that the mayoral seat has about 9 candidates, and I can see that the NRM at least has some leg in it. You have FDC, you have independent candidates who have been able to also participate, and other politicians who have been on lower levels of leadership, like the councillorship, but also some that participated in the NRM primaries and lost. National Unity Platform also has a leg in it. Who do you think is going to be in the tight race with the other? If you look at the big contenders, who do you say are the big contenders in the mayor race in Mbale City? Gerard.
Yes, Canary, the big contenders here, we have Kasim Namugari wa Matabu of FDC, and then we have Vincent Magombe, the NRM flag bearer. Vincent Magombe, once in 2016 participated in vied for the Mbale LC5 chairperson, and he gave a very tight race to Bernard Mujasi, the district chairperson. And then the other one is Zandia Mutwalibi Mafari, an independent candidate, FDC leaning. Mafari Mutwalibi has been the mayor for Mbale municipality for a decade, that is 2 terms. And now he is seeking his third office as the city mayor. Zandia lost in the FDC primaries to Wamatabu, and now these are the major candidates. But we also have Abbas Wetata of Noop, Abudu Magola, independent, NRM leaning, William Masai, independent, NRM leaning, Hashim Mwenyi, independent, Godfrey Wanyama, independent, and then Kasim Wadero, independent. Now, the FDC has for quite some time enjoyed a lot of space in Mbale and Mbale city. We would imagine that FDC will still have an upper hand. But around the party card, the party politics did not play so much, because we saw both members of parliament for Northern Division and Industrial Division, FDC candidates, had a bloody nose and they lost miserably in the just concluded parliamentary elections. This, of course, is attributed to a number of factors, especially the challenges that FDC experienced during the primaries, where we saw most of their strong candidates being left out and new members being brought on to hold the party flag. But also the influence of Nathan Nandala Mafabi, the Secretary General of FDC, who has been very strong and influential in the politics of this region, and especially the politics of Mbale town. By this time round, he moved around campaigning for those candidates, but we did not see that kind of influence being manifested in the outcome of the parliamentary elections. Although now we hope that maybe this time round we'll wait to see how the people of Mbale are going to be choosing their candidates. We don't know whether FDC is this time round maintaining its grip on the city seat, having lost the parliamentary seats, or it will still lose, or that the people of Mbale will determine. But Canada, before I leave, I also want to tell you that the Kampala started a bit late in many of the polling stations. And as we speak now, later in the day, the elections for city councillors in Northern Division had to function as a suspended elections for city councillors in Northern Division, and this is attributed to the wrong packaging of the ballot papers, where some of the ballot papers found themselves on wrong.
Thanks, Gerard, for that update. And well, let's see how things turn out. You have about 2.5 hours to end this polling exercise so tallying can begin. Let's cross over to Adjumani, where Martin Okidi is on standby to give us an update. Martin, it's not been really quite vibrant out there in Adjumani in terms of voter turnout. But let's take a look at the contenders in the race in Adjumani, especially on the mayor seat. Who do you say are the big dogs in the race?
Okay, for the case of Adjumani district, it is basically going to be two-horse race. We have the incumbent local council 5 chairperson, who is Mr. Leku James Pili. He is contesting to reclaim his seat because this is the second term he is contesting for the same seat. Also, in the same race, we have Mr. Ben Anyama. Ben Anyama has been the resident district commissioner for Dokolo district. He is also a businessman. Now, where I'm standing is Openzinji polling station. It has a total of 4 the turnout of voters has been low in this particular polling station, and this is the same voting location where the incumbent local council 5 chairperson has casted his vote a few minutes ago. Next to me is one of the voters who has decided to cast his vote because he says it is his political right, and there was need for him to exercise this democratic right. I have him with me here, and he has a message for the voters.
Okay, thank you. Colleague Ivan, I've just voted right now, and my message to the public is that I think after the election, people should be calm and they should wait for the result.
Yeah, I think his message is right because the information we are right now getting is that arrests have been made by police, and a few people have been detained at Jumani Central Police Station. We are yet to find out what charges have been levied against them. But before that yesterday, a grass-thatched house of one of the supporters of the candidate has been set on fire. Police is also investigating the matter. So this is one of the districts where the 2 candidates, especially Ben Anyama and Mr. James Lekupili, expected to run neck to neck. So you've decided to vote.
Yeah.
And you came up slightly late.
Yeah.
So this is going to be 2-horse race.
Yeah,
do you have message for the people of Jumani district after voting?
My message to the people of Jumani is they have all seen what has happened, and they have known who to vote. So I urge them to be calm after the voting.
Okay, thank you very much, Canary. We shall be giving more updates as we continue.
Thank you very much, Martin Okidi, for that update. Did you say that the race is between Ben Anyama, former RDC Dokolo, and James Leku? Okay, we'll get back to Martin Okidi in just a bit. Well, let's see how the next 2 hours and 27 minutes are going to go until 4 p.m. Maybe we'll have 40% voter turnout, would you say?
Probably, but truthfully, I do not expect a bigger change. And I want to believe that this time we're going to have the results much more faster because not so many people did cast their ballots, so there will be less to count, and therefore the returning officers would have a much better chance to announce who the winners are much earlier on.
Okay, so Mildred and I are going to take a short commercial break, and we connect you to sports. And as we do go for that sports update, Mildred and I are going to go and cast. And we're going to go and cast our ballots.
And of course,
I vote from Rubaga, you vote from Bukoto.
Yes.
And this time around, we should go and vote.
That's very true. We'll come back with my ink. I don't know whether that will be seen with my nails, but I should come back with my ink. Naye nga tuvaawo bangi abatajjumbidde kubanga balonda simanyi oba Beka Kigongo ye nga agenda okutuwa lunchtime sports yasoose kubeera nga agenze kusuula kalulu ke n'alyoka akomawo. Beka Kigongo, tukimanyi ng'obudde bwa lunchtime sports tubuliddemuko obudakiika butonotono naye walonze oba nawe oli omu ku abo abagezezaako okulaba nga obululu tebusuulibwa nga bungi.
Ebiro kyambukisa nnyo mu beesimbyeyo ku Walodi Mayor mulimu Obi wange Leben Sentamu. Obi wange
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Basebone banyaba bazze olugulugo lwaleero mwebali kujja wena gye musinzira okubanga mutulaba. The updates online page. Era nga tuli basanya okubanga muzze mu gonjo yamuti. Ndaba Debra, thanks for coming. Samantha, Rex, thanks for coming. Kato Joseph, thanks for coming. Nabuma Patience, Derek B. Wilson, Kasule Rashid, Christopher, thanks for coming. Namutebi, thanks for coming. Banang muje tuyise obubaka buno inshallah bugende mu bantu. Once again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mwebale nnyo kutulaba, mwebale nnyo kuwuliza bye tubagamba, mwebale nnyo kuteeka mu nkola byonna bituteesaako wano nga twogeddeko ne tumenyaamenya ensonga ku bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga lyattu. Though bikaabya, though byennyamiza, though bimalamu amaanyi, though biyungula ezziga, but we have to keep pushing. The mission here is to win. The mission here is to win. Well, if you have the zeal and if you have the courage to win, that means you have to work hard and harder. Naye abatali bawanguzi bebakoma mu kkubo, abatali bawanguzi beba feelinga comfortable mu zones ze balimu, n'ogamba nze the kasita nafuluma Uganda mbeera Kenya, let me be comfortable, ebyo Uganda tebinkwatako. Nze nafuluma Uganda mbeera Dubai, let me be comfortable, ebyo Uganda tebinkwatako. Nze nafuluma Uganda mbeera UK, mbeera US, mbeera Netherlands, ebyo Uganda tebinkwatako. That means you're aiming small. Okitegeera. So fena wetuli tulina okubanga twenyigira mu bintu ebiruma eggwanga lyaffe, tulina okubanga twenyigira mu bintu ebikulaakulanya eggwanga lyaffe. Wadde tuliringa ne dictator amaze emyaka 35, wadde tuliringa n'omuntu abbye eggwanga okumala emyaka 35 nti alina ssente zisobola okugula abantu, but you be among those ones who cannot be bought. You be among those ones who does something for the best of your country. Be among those ones who are satisfied with the little you have. Mukitegeera. So baganda bange katandika video. Tulina ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga Uganda. Sawa zino bingi nnyo. Bantu bangi banyiivu, bantu bangi balina obusungu, bantu bangi balivingira mu kutya. Because tebamanyi what's there tomorrow. Kubanga Museveni eggwanga lyaffe ngeri gye yalifuulamu. Naye twagala kubawa essuubi, twagala kubawa okukkiriza nti President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu agenda kuba president. Twagala okubawa essuubi, tubawa okukkiriza mwenna abatulaba all over the world nti President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine agenda kuba president wa Uganda. Bana abasajja enteekateeka ze bakola zonna okwagala eliminating Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu okwagala okumumiza omusu bakimanyi agenda osikira Museveni with no doubt. Museveni ne ba special force be ne baani be bakimanyi nti Kyagulanyi Robert Ssentamu yagenda osikira Museveni mu bbanga etali yawala. Bantu bameka ababadde mu kalulu ako mwabadde Amuriat, mwabadde mu Katumba Oye, mwabadde mu Bagundi, bonna aba state be yalese. Why are they so much interested in Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu incarcerating him in his home, even planning deals to assassinate him? Why? Because gotuwagira wa amaanyi, because gotuwagira gwe balabamu potential egendo okujjako Museveni, gotuwagira yalina vision y'abavubuka, gotuwagira yasinga otegeera embeera y'abavubuka. That's why Special Forces is fighting Robert. Museveni is fighting Robert. SFC ISO is fighting Bobby Wine. Ani Jati Bobby Wine. That's why everything is fighting Bobby Wine. Everything is pointed against putting Bobby Wine down. Everything is pointed at disorganizing the camp of National Unity Platform. Everything is aimed at poisoning and making us kneel for the dictator. Mumanyi lwaki? Kubanga Museveni akimanyi nti omuntu agenda omudira mu bigero bayagala batayagala is going to be Bobby Wine. Let me tell you something. No dictator has never lived longer than the people he dictates on. Taliyo. Teri dictator awanga kusinga abantu ba dictating. Mugabe yali akakwata obuyinza yali amanyi talifa. Never. Byonna bye yakola n'amanyira abantu n'abakola biki yali amanyi talifa. Time came ne bamuziika. Museveni yebabeera bamukyusa omusaayi buli wiiki. Ajja kutuuka nga bagukyusa buli lunaku. Ajja kutuuka nga bagukyusa buli hour. But Museveni, you know very well you cannot escape death. You know very well you cannot divert death. Bamugumukyusa buli mwezi. Ajja kutuuka nga bagumukyusa after 2 weeks. Ajja kutuuka nga bagumukyusa after 1 day. Museveni ajja kutuuka nga omusaayi bagukyusa after every other hour. Ajja kutuusa nga flowing through his veins. Okitegera? So, Museveni byonna byokola, and I see very young boys supporting Museveni. Byonna byakola agenda vaako. He cannot cheat death. Time is running. The clock is ticking. Museveni wali afanna mu kinaana si wafanna kati. We saw a brave man nga alayira ku parliament. Very young man, strong and brave. Si wafanna kati. Yuzi nalabe Museveni nga alikugana ba pastor mu State House. Nga ina wana akabaketi mabegawe. Akakabaketi awuli amalusu nga gamujudde mu kamwa n'awanda mu kabaketi yako n'awanda mu kitishu n'asula mu kabaketi. That's Museveni for you. Ayogana awuli nga amalusu gamujudde mu kamwa n'asikayo tishu n'awanda mu bwati n'asula mu kabaketi. That means the man is aging. Neyesimula sayo naba yesimula no kumimwa. That means the man is aging. Museveni agenda kufanga wetuli. Museveni agenda kufanga Kyagulanyi wali. Museveni agenda kufa nga fenna tulaba. Museveni agenda kufa nga buli omu ali wano ku live video na atemya bwati. Museveni mukirana mukaga yali yesimula endusu. Museveni mukyende yali awanda mu paper towel n'asula mu kigondi. Yatambulanga ne toy. Kubanga I have seen videos of Museveni nga avuga Benz eddanga mu 1990. Yali atambulanga ne toilet. Kati basebo ne banyabo. Kyetuliko right now. Si kyakulinda Museveni kumala kudikeyingisa nsi yaffe. Never. Museveni tulina omujjawo nga tannamaliza buli kimu kubanga banasajja bajja tusogonyola. They came to destroy, kill and destroy Uganda. Tulina omujjawo as soon as possible. And the successor is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. oba muhoza ayagala oba tayagala oba naddayo n'afuna diguli z'amagye 10 oba ne bamutikira oba general 3 times, Bobi Wine is going to be president of Uganda. Because Bobi Wine kyeyayolesezza ku political na tekibangawo. Even right now, Museveni wallahi babi nakera kumacha na tweeting anti Bobi Wine needs medical help. Munyumbe. Museveni ojomanyira nti wawangudde. Babi Kyagulanyi center mwakere kumacha akole tweet nti Bobi Wine needs medical help. Munyumba omwo. Museveni ojomanyira nti wawangudde. Nze nkubulira. Kyagulanyi Robert center mu nti ayagala medical help bamugaide mu nyumba ye for a week. Talaba doctor ayagala medical help. Museveni ojomanyira nti ne mundu zote zikola. Tumukabura, that's when you will realize that even your guns. Let me tell you, basawo ne banyawa bali ku live nkamba buleka kintu kimu. Videos one ziri okusaculatinga ku social media za Museveni nga bakalunga bakatikinga. Mwanyichi? All those videos that are circulating on social media while taking Museveni's ballot most of them were recorded by military personnel. Most of those videos, ngabali mu buyumba batikinga Museveni. Most of those videos that you're watching when they are inside their houses taking Museveni, most of them were recorded by military personnel. So the military is not on Museveni's side. Never. Whoever is watching here, the military of Uganda is not on Museveni's side. The military of Uganda is also tired. Tumukabura olikwekwa atakobisubi. Due to the fact that into why say a week okuba walondebwa almost a week now, cause tomorrow Wednesday, tomorrow is making a week cause Wednesday. It's when they cast their votes. Why say a week right now? Nenga tuwaina abantu babadde ku congratulating abawera basatu. That means wanyaze. Museveni gwe kenyino kimanyi bumanyi nti wanyaze. Omubbi abatya nnyo, omubbi yekengera nnyo. A thief is always alert. Nze mbabuli abaje gali kusaidia. Ezo videos zonna kubanga in all those rooms that they took those ballots from, teri muntu asobola kugenda mu ngaze kutekinga bulunga ina camera eyo. Never. Nebo okuyingira okutikinga ballot eyo nga bako hiring bagenda ku 5,000 10,000 basoka kukebera bakujjeka amasimugo to make sure you don't record while taking those ballots. Kati mukimanye mwe munna abanda bawana nti eyabadde recording nga video ezo zonna zitulaba ku mutimbagano right now babadde bajasi. Believe it or not, abasinga babadde bajasi. That shows you even the army is fed up. So munna Uganda wenna joli, change is coming soon or later. Change is coming, but what I smell is change is coming very soon. Omubbi wagenda okubba abera nengoye abera ne suit ye eyokukyusa ku mudakika nga 5, then watambula mu dakika nga 3 najja ku suit natayako jacket ye Museveni yetumukabulwa. Omubbi aba yekengera nnyo ate okusinga gwabbye. Museveni is so alert right now. Museveni is in panic. Museveni is in fear. Museveni akimanyi Kyagulanyi wava mu makage ayinza obutaba president, ayinza obutalayira. That's why I deploy nze buli wamu n'ebitooke biri under siege. Even the banana plantations, they are under siege. Even the grass is under siege. Buli kimu kiri under siege. Akitege kati Museveni nonyengeri jetwa tusamu body camera zaffe okuziwa bajasibo. Mwegendereze. Tumukabulwa, be careful. The world is tired of you. The people of Uganda are tired of you. Omusajja bamukumye. Ebitooke biri under siege. The banana plantation is under siege. The grass at Bobby Wine's home is under siege. Bulichimuchi under siege. Every talking over makinga. Bagamba Chagonya inzo ita mitoko munageni. But wacha akole byonga asobola okufulumira mu gate ne nagenda. Jaba ayagala ngensi ne tegede nti Bobby Wine agenze mu kibuga. Bobby Wine agenze ku no offices. Omubbi atya nnyo. Kati Museveni wemaze okubba because yabbe kyere ku luno. Tosobola kuba electoral commission, you're mandated to make the voices of Ugandans speak up and speak up loud. Kugamba mbu polling session simanyi 10 niyo twandizigaseko tezandi impactinze. Ng'abantu bawangulira ku bululu emitwalo 2. Abantu bawangulira ku bululu mutwalo ku bululu 10. Gugambo tyamu polling stations 10 nebe mwanzi talinze. Tewandi baddewo njawulo yonna. Ng'abantu babalangira ku bululu 200 200 ballots nezikyusa omuzannyo omutone mukubakalu. So, if you stole and rigged with stupidity, if you stuffed those ballots with stupidity, it's high time. Mwemwe naba Bukenya, simanyi benanga, simanyi bani, simanyi babyabakama. Time is coming that you're going to be answerable for all that rubbish you're doing. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. And very soon, you're going to be answerable of all the rubbish you're doing. Was a simple question. What do you depend on to tally the numbers? That shows you aren't in control of this election. If you cannot answer such a small, simple question, that means you aren't in control of that election. Ochitege. Basebo ne banyabu. Museveni yasinga okutya mu Uganda right now. Museveni ne bwakulaba ng'oli mu kamotoka ko ng'omugoberera saawa zino. Olaba nti alina amaje ne biki. Ne bwakuyitako mu kapulimo ko n'ojjirako emabega bayinza okukuba amasasi ne bakutta. Oyo Museveni is right now in panic. Kubanga bakimanyi beruka kuba na Uganda. Bakimanyi they are forcing themselves on Ugandans. Nenjagala buche ku machaba bichabranya agambe nti bawo yetaga medical attention. Njagala bukere ku machaba byateke ku Twitter agambe bawo yetaga medical attention. Dictator Mukabula. Simanyi to Mukabula, simanyi bichi. Mujafuna obuzibu. Mukanze muduse plani zo kumutta mukoze bichi kasazo no magala mu starving afi. Mutidde nnyo. Museveni akimanyi takyamala na bavubuka takyamalaku. Museveni akimanyi tasobola kumalako na bavubuka. He knows very well. Ninga bino tebinaggwa. Mpozi nga mugenda keeping abantu bemutyo pako maka gugweke myaka 2 gigweko nga abantu bagenda kuba nete binaggwa. This is not over. This is not over until it's over. It's not. Tubadde tutandika butanzi twakatandika. We are pursuing the mission 2021. We are still on course to pursue the mission 2021. Nzembabuli yamazima. Katalika butalisi. So dictator onna woli, don't be comfortable. No. Tobere you know enjoying a sente zawe womso. Museveni we tetwagala sente. We don't want your money. Why do you have the mentality that all the youths are on the streets of Kampala need your money? No. Yogera juze beti sirumu simanyi tujja kongera mu sente simanyi mu programs zamwe. We don't just need money. Someone feels more bad. A patriotic Ugandan feels more bad when you shoot kids on the street and the first lady comes out and says they are going to compensate the family. They are going to compensate for the dead body. Never watoli muntu mukazi gwe muchala simanyi Museveni. Never watoli muntu. You cannot speak such in public. Where have you gone to buy human life? Which hospital have you visited to buy human life? America bayiza buli kimonyo nyezibuka mu bange ebiroboti ebikuwa emmere y'okulente wonna bakuyiya mutima gwa muntu gusa. nibakola heart transplanting ya byuma era muntu muno yalina okuwa omutima ne baguteekamu. You cannot buy life anyway even though you're damn rich. Excuse me. Neno labo mukazi najja ku TV we shall compensate for the life of the kid that was shot dead. Nebo osanga omuzadde nga munaku atya nga yasembe tosobola gamba nti omwana mumpe mu emitwalo 2 egya dola. Nebo osanga omuzadde nga munaku atya nga basulira kasooli oba basulira fene oba basulira miyembe ngeno season y'emiyembe wegwako nga balinde ya fene ng'etandika tasobola kugamba nti oyo mwana mumpe mu 12 eza dola. They cannot. Nego nojja ku TV nga bazukulu baba bayisa wali baba isanga okukyeruzira nga mwala otanda baye ruzira kubayo simanye munaleka we nyumba neba n'abantu batumanyidde muwalawe mwala wa Museveni oyo simanyi Natasha simanyi biki eche kitusewa mwala woyo Museveni simanyi Natasha simanyi biki yali asule yuzira ne bajja ne bazimbawo church next to her house n'agamba mbu abalokole bamukubira nnyo kelere katengere gyali omulokole yekasenguka aveyo nayo kazimbe ennyumba eri ku Lake Victoria ku beach jasula n'abaana be. Just noise pollution mu kitundu yamu prompting okuvaawo okusenguka abazzukulu ba Museveni abatwale gye basula ku zi beach. But you're talking about taking someone's life. You're speaking about taking someone's life by a gunshot. You shoot at people and say you're going to compensate them. Ngabana baba isanga okukyeruzirawo nga bonna bali mu motoka babatwala ku ssomero balina emmotoka nga 5 zibawerekera just bazzukulu bwa Museveni ne babuyisaawo bwana buto wa myaka 3-5-6 ne babuyisaawo nga buli mu motoka ziri bulletproof babatwala ku ssomero every day nga kuliko simanyi giveaway simanyi biki ene student waliwo ne bawerekera taddemu emigaati ne blue band elimu n'omuchere gwa piraawo naye ng'oli ku mwana w'omuntu ng'omugamba mbu simanyi you're going to compensate their life nga bazzukulu ogwo bakuumanga ki? Is that country crazy? Are we still thinking? Are we still have people with brains in that country? Are we still having leaders with, oh my God. Norabo omukazi nga yenna akaddiye naye nga byagata kyabitegeera. How do you compensate for someone's life? Omuntu ototi omuntu n'omugamba mbu simanyi ngenda kukwata ye wallahi omuntu ne bwakwata akawumbi n'akakuwanga amaze okuba omwana w'essasi era eba kugamba nti omwana wo kumukomyawo n'okutwala akawumbi ogamba mukomyewo omwana wange ogamba nti okomyawo omwana wange addewo nga mulamu atambula wa mutima gukuba mutwala akawumbi kamwe mumpe omwana wange. You don't know what you're speaking. You do not know. And the compensation, you're going to give them 5 million. You're going to give them 10 million. What is happening? Are we short of thinkers? Tuweddemu bwe tuti nti omuntu amanya kujja nayogera ebintu ng'alinga atalina handle nga omuntu alinga atalina ba advisor nga omuntu alinga ajjabuza okwogera obwogezi ebintu by'ekisirusiru nga n'omwana omuto yakamala senior 6 omwebyo omukazi byasomye ku lupapula tasobola bisoma because it is too dense for a big person like that who has lost someone in their life. Yafiirwako taata we, yafiirwako maama we, to speak such a thing. That means that person is too evil. Talowoozayo nti obudde buli kyalumu naye n'alumizibwako. Basebo ne banyabo tugenda mu kaluluka okulwanira victory. Naye woba toli ready and you don't trust Robert Kyagulanyi Center mujivemu yesimbudde mission 2021 wesimbudde jivemu era ku nsonga eyo mwenna abali mu America mwenna abali mu America as we pursue for our freedom, as we pursue for the freedom of our president, as we pursue for the victory that our president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu received from the people of Uganda. Ngenaku z'omwezi 22 Friday no. This very Friday ngenaku z'omwezi 22 fenna tugenda ku UN headquarters. Fenna oboli New Hampshire, oboli California, oboli Texas, oboli Philly, oboli oboli Nevada, as long as you're Uganda, tugenda ku UN headquarters in New York nga 22 tubeerewo fenna ku ssaawa 5 to demanding freedom ya Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, to demanding victory, to demanding victory yaffe bana abasajja batubbe in broad daylight, to demanding freedom ya President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Era Museveni tukuwadde ssaawa 12 okubanga president waffe ojeyo amajego ojeyo byonna simanyi bitanka simanyi bijebyo mu kisenyi simanyi zikajegere simanyi zani zona ziriyo mu kisenyi wa Bobi Wine kuluze manga bakuuma musajja atayina wadde akasaali China mu nyumba kirabika Mama Solomon bwasaliso obutungulu obugundi akambu Mama Solomon kasaliso obutungulu mulesizi machine gani muzitaddeyo mu kibira. Basebo ne banyabo wenna ali mu America mu calling off. We are fighting for our freedom. Niona kwate 12 15 dola kanana nozisindike Uganda bakugulira ettaka ekyatu mwina agenda litwala. Encha soda ajja kugamba nti awe wali golodi wengende okusima golodi wange. Ojakera ku mati enchanga bayiyewa amaje. Basebo ne banyabo ngenaku z'omwezi 22 woba oli mu America mukolinga essaawa zino in advance mubagambe bannaye omuzungu mugambe mazima tomulimba totekawo bisonga mbu ate bikibi omuzungu mugambe tuligenda kwekalakasa e New York ku UN embassy ku UN headquarters tugenda kwekalakasa because batu riggins akalulu kaffe. These are the videos when they are taking the ballot. These are the videos when they are shooting at Ugandans. We need to go there and demand for our freedom. Omuzungu mugambe tomulimba. Tewekwenya mbu simanyi omuzungu ene mwalizo ni kinedda. Kwate simu omuzungu omulage nti sebo laba wano nga bakuba abantu bafa amasasi. Laba wano nga batikinga obululu. So we are going there to demand for our freedom. Mugambe nti president wa afuze emyaka 4. Atulemedde ka lesi nsasagge mu Uganda okuva mu 1980 Uganda eri mu nsasagge paka leero. Mugambo omuzungu ajja kukkiriza okufuluma mu nyumba ogendeyo. Agenda kukkiriza bajja kuleka ogende New York ku UN headquarters wetusinkana ku ssaawa 5 naye ku ssaawa 4 mubeerewo. Ku ssaawa 4 tulina okuba ku UN headquarters in New York City. Basebo ne banyabo mwenna abawanga iri New Hampshire, Connecticut, Greater Boston mwenna Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, Boston yenyini mwenna around please tulina okujja fenna. Basebo ne banyabo mbegayiridde in your capacity awo oba tosobola transport tutukirire tujja kusondera. Woba tosobola $5 tujja kusondera. Woba oyina emmotoka yo it's okay musobola okwekwata abantu basatu ne mufiweringa mafuta wano ga rice because buli omu akola buli omu ayingiza akasente. Osobola okugula amafuta ga $8 gakutwala negakuzza oba ga $6 $3 full tank 3 to 4 hours drive. Ne dola chikumi chikumala. Basebo ne banyabo. We have to go and fight for our freedom. Kati gobo olieyo ngolowooza nti hours ozisudde. Olieyo olowooza nti hours 12 ozilese. Ezo dola nga 220. Hours 12 ozisudde. Oyongeddemu n'okuteeka mu dola 3. Oyongeddemu dola 10 ezigenda ku facilitatinga. Obazeemu nti ezo dola 3 olunaku nzifiiriddwa. My dear, Uganda is losing billions because of Museveni's leadership. Igwarowooza nti ofiiriddwa dola 3 ebya shift ku olwo ne sente z'ogenda oteekamu. Uganda is losing billions of money. And no one in the diaspora is safe because those people out there, bebagendo bakuba amasasi nga muzzeeyo Uganda. You've seen how rampant the guns are on the streets of Kampala. You've seen how everyone is holding an American whose guns in his machine gun. Everyone. Because they are rampant. Ziribuli wamu. If you have to change your country, it is now. Ujja kuda Uganda mbusimanyize empangisiza ka hoteli bakulumbe yo n'amamundu abamundu galibula mbakube sasi ninga bali kujja ko dola 15 wagenze na jize cha dondo. Basebo ne banyabo. If there is some little time that you can spend to fight for your country, is 22nd, this very Friday. 22nd. Let's go and fight for our comrades who have been incarcerated for almost a month and a half. All Nubian Diba, Niba Edimutu, Dan Magic, Niba Sky Soldier, tugende tubalwanirire because baliye yombumenyi bw'amateeka, baliye lwanache amalira kutya, baliye lwakuba they wanted to keep Bobi Wine alone through all this time, baliye yokubanga tebalina musango kubanga dictator just ali mu kutya. The dictator is just in panic. That's why all our comrades are incarcerated. Bali mu illegal detentions. At least nonya yensonga emwe kulete New York ku USA, ku UN embassy, UN headquarters. Nonya yensonga emu yokka. At least gamba nti adani magiki ya producing ranga president wa obuyimbo wanyumira. Eyo ensonga yakuleta kali. Gambe eyo ensonga eneta. Gobato yagala bya struggle nga tobirimu gamba nti Dani Magic yakoleranga president wange obuyimbo obulungi ali mu komera. Let me come for that. But we must all be at the UN headquarters in New York City. Bantu banji nabatalambula nko New York. This is the opportunity you can come through. Kubanga bantu banji babadde wano mu America nga babadde wano mu America emyaka 5 myaka 10. Ninga ta step yanko chigere New York City. Yes. Ojene netubera wamu netu fighting for our freedom, netu fighting for our victory. Ningo likulambula ko New York. Very many people have been here for 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, 3 years. Ngatayingira nkona New York City. Ochitege. So, muje, it's a buffet. Mugenda kulaba ebintu bingi. Tugenda kweyongerako kuyiga, tugenda kweyongerako kusoma about the struggle, tugenda contactinga, tugenda kwemanyanga fe mu diaspora, tugenda buildinga teams ezigenda okulwanira eggwanga lyaffe, tugenda kola coordination y'amaani. Tugenda kwetegeera, tumanyira abanyampi bagenda kujja, tumanyira abanyampi mugenda kujja, mwagala tutegeera, mwagala okubuildinga team muffe, tukimanyira abanyampi mujja, and we are ready for you. We know how we recognize you. Tuina kodi zaffe ezitambulira mu fenga tosobola jimanya ngo oli munyambi. Tukimanyi namwe mujja kuleta ebise eyo musimanyi mu recording nga mujje. Namwe abanyambi tukimanyi mugenda kuleta ebise eyo musimanyi muze ku recording nga you come. Mukitegere. Muchala president who is duly elected, president elect, no mutigatiga omusika amabere ebana video yanyiziza bana tuli mu nsi kibanna bino bituluma lwakuba tutambudde kufulaba human rights how they are respected. Museveni, it's high time you leave our country. Museveni, it is high time you leave Ugandans alone. If the way you see how your son behaves, and it's the way you think that Bobi Wine is going to behave when he captures power, it's not right. Your son is a lost goat. He's damn stupid. Mumanye ebyana by'abasajja abapolitician ab'amaanyi abatulugunya abantu biba bikebe. Museveni, God cannot bless you with everything. Katonda tasobola kuwa abaana bagezi. No. Era Katonda akimanya engeri gy'otta abaana b'abandi, Katonda agenda kuwa bidomola by'abaana. Kubanga omukulu mwennyini kidomola. Kati Museveni walaba ekidomola kiri awo. N'alowooza nti buli muvubuka ate nga oli mutabanyi we si muvubuka, oli mutabanyi we muzeeyi. Okitegeera? Myaka 5 naye akyali kidomola. Kati Museveni walaba omusajja oyo w'emyaka 5 naye nga kidomola. Abeera alowooza nti abavubuka ffenna bwe tutyo. We shall misuse power. Like the way his son misuses power. N'akwata n'afuka mu ngoye n'akuba amasasi mu bbaala n'akola ate neyekyanga n'atamiira. Museveni thinks that everyone is going to be like that. No. Basebo ne banyawo. The day kale gwo mukazi yenna ali eyo. Kale gwo mukazi yenna ali eyo. Think about the manhandling of the first lady. Golowooza ku ngeri Babi gyali mu makage, ali ku gate yaabwe, ali mu premises zaabwe, ali ku ttaka lye beegulira, omuntu n'amusika ebbeere. Kale gwe jangu because of that. Nti nga gwe oli mukazi, you might be a feminist. Gwe jangu nga feminist, jangu, you come for that demonstration because of that. But you have to fix a reason to be there. You have to get something to be there. You have to think about something to be there. You don't have any reasons not to come. Tolina. At least Rosa Kubana Baita Nabu Kenya. Rosa Kubana Bakauma. Rosa Kubana Badani Cheyune. You must get a reason to be at the UN headquarters in New York on 22nd, which is this Friday, at exactly 10 a.m. in the morning. We must demand for our freedom. Omukazi mulabe wano omukazi wano Amelia Chambad. Amelia yaze n'abagamba bannange. We have overstayed. Yetshako tetubitegeera. Amelia betasobola byogera nga akyayina entebe y'emawokota. Wallahi mbalayira Museveni waliva ku ntebe ne tumuteeka wali emabbali. Ne bw'ataliba mabbali ng'atudda. Ne bw'aliba kudduka after his presidency. Museveni waliba nga takyalina control ya ntebe eyo. Waligambira we overstayed. Nze nkubuulira. Museveni walituuka olunaku nga talina control ya ntebe ya bwa president. That's when he will think that he overstayed. James, it's gonna be New York at the UN headquarters. Webuli chakuma cha Museveni nga tali mu ntebe ya bwa president obwe Uganda. That's when he will remember that they overstayed. Nga we mwalabe omukyalo ya Amelia Chambadde we yakoze statement ye nti tuluddewo abantu beetamwa abantu bakoowa omuntu abeerawo n'akukoowa mbaddewo emyaka 10 and before that he was simanyi Museveni's secretary for over 15 years simanyi 25 years. Abantu batukanye bakoowa nobeera one off. Saawa zino Chambadde yavaamu statement yo n'agamba bannaye tutuuka omuntu nakoowa because amaze kuva mu bukulembeze obwabaddemu naye kamanya nti naye kakubamu akaddanyuma n'agamba kituufu abantu babadde bankooye. Naye bw'oba okyali awo ng'okyalina grip of power ng'okyalina amaanyi agalagira nti omumukwate, okyalina amaanyi agagamba nti temumukkiriza kwebaka, ng'okyalina amaanyi agagamba nti Bobi Wine mumugayire mu nnyumba, ng'okyalina amaanyi agagamba nti mukuba abantu amasasi tujja kubawa ssente, ng'okyalina amaanyi agagamba nti abawagira Nuupu basiru. you cannot think until you've overstayed. Museveni olunaku lwagenda okuva mu ntebe wajja okujjukira nti nfuze emyaka 4 okuva mu 8 ndi wano ntabula bantu kubanga yali akulira military council. He was the head of the military council. Oyo omusajja omubbi gwe mulaba wakalu, oyo muzeeyo omubbi. What are you teaching the new generation? Ntwalina gu president wano nga gubbi tegutuwa kyakulabirako nga gubbi gwakalu. You still in broad daylight with the army protecting you around. Tege basebo ne banyabo tuyina reclaiming our victory. We have to fight for our victory. We have to fight for the comrades in prison. We have to fight for our president Bobi Wine, who is incarcerated in his house, and that is 22nd of this month at the UN headquarters in New York City. Njagala kumaliza n'ensonga eyaba Lord Mayor. Njagala kumaliza n'ensonga yaba Lord Mayor. Munzikirize. Basebo ne banyabo. Mu Uganda yaffe gye tubeeramu mulimu abasajja ababye ennyo. Mu 2017 mu 2017 twagenda Mbale ku musango gwatwogikwatako by that time. So I met with a friend. Ali is in one of the is my hobby. He's one of the employees in the biggest media houses in Uganda. Gai yakola statement emu. Nangamba bulo. Omusajja gwe stali coveringa. Bintu bye function bye. Era omusajja gwe nagamba boss wange ntonsindikanga ku coveringa gundi oyo. Yali musajja omunga wamita Elias Lukwago. Gai okuva storage yanyomeza mu 2017. Paka sawa zino. Namanya nti bannabyabufuzi babi. That's why His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he would rather be called a leader, but not a politician. But politician babi. Embozi yabanyumiza ku musajja gwe bayita Lukwago. But politicians babi in 2017. Nofulira abantu nga beegonza. Ne bajja ku TV ne beeyogeza n'ekisa. Ne bajja ku TV ne beemoola. N'omutuna bwoti ng'ayogera n'ogamba naye banne mu mutima muli omuntu abatawulira mugugwetise mu mutima nti alidde mu bantu olukwe. N'ogamba omuntu muli mu mutima tekikuhontinga nga bw'onaagamba nti oba kubanga nze ekyo ekintu okulya muntu olukwe nkigeraganya ng'okuvuma maama wo oba okuvuma taata wo. Naye omwetondera emirundi 10 tekisobola kuva ku mutima nti wamuvuma. N'ogamba maama wo nti olinga embizi. Wogamba maama wo nti olinga embizi naye omwetondera emirundi 10. Obeera tekisobola kuva ku mutima nti wamuvumye. Kati newuunya. Some of these politicians who play double standard temubeera kawo ne muwulira mu mutima nga you're carrying a big burden ng'owulira nti ekintu kikulumiriza nti why am I doing this? Nokera ku makya n'ogenda ku musaala n'osala subuhi n'osala dhuhuri n'osala aswi n'osala magharibi n'osala isha buli lunaku naye nga tolina muntu kintu kigamba naye wakola kikwolwo. Why are you still doing this? Why are you continuing to do this? Bannayuganda politicians abasajja bana bafiira kalu. Olaba omuntu ng'afiira kalu nga tayagala kuvaawo, n'olaba munnayuganda ng'afiirawo ng'alwana ng'akola biki, manya those people are bad. Omuntu ajjayo emmundu olwakalu manya oyo omuntu mubi. Omuntu ayagala okuriginga in all situations manya oyo omuntu mubi nnyo. Lukwago, with due respect, tumanye ebibozi bya Nabiira tubiwulidde, but because of the fact that our president trusted her namukwasa kadi president of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yamutrustinga namukwasa kadi n'agamba Nabira Nagai gwalina kadi ya Nuupu. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has been with the Chameleon for a long time. Bobi Wine amazene Chameleon emyaka nga 25. Amazena emyaka nga 25. Naye akaluluwe kali katambula akokugaba kadi teyamuterayo kabega. No. Teyamuterayo kabega nti obo kyali wange tokubena emiziki obo kyali wange solomo kubira simu ne tuogera nti oba mumwe kadi. No. Even though he was the second in line. Because President wa yali amanyingira tuina potential competitor, tuina potential Lord Mayor omukyala nagayina Bira Sempala. We mulaba omuntu yennanga wa people power wa Nuupu apositinga basimanyi bakamiri kwezi, simanyi apositinga baani, simanyi balukwago. Oyo mumanyi oyo ali kubibye tali wano for change. Omuntu yennanga alina page wadde ayagala nnyo Bobi Wine, wadde yabeerako ne Kyagulanyi n'apositinga, wadde yabeerako ne Bobi Ewa n'apositinga Lukwago oba n'apositinga Mirikwezi. That one is against the struggle. Nze mbabulidde Lukwago ne boddeyo mu speech ze zonna talina wa mentioningira linnya Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Talirina. Talina wakolera mention ya Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ne boddayo mu speech za Lukwago 15. Ne bolaba TV show za Lukwago 30. Talina wa mentioningira kigambo Bobi Wine. Kati I said damn stupid person posting Lukwago nkuyita mukebe. If I see you posting Lukwago nkuyita mukebe. That means Lukwago teyayagala ko Bobi Wine kubeera president. Why? Kubanga ayina byayisaawo edda. Ayina byayisaawo, ayina byakoledde ebibye. Ayina ye wakifuliramu ekiriwo. Bane nsanukule busanukuzi bwongo bwammwe nteekemu bino ebigambo. Should I open your brain and put these words in your brain so that you can really understand and contemplate them very well? Ngabiko sinkinze mulibiri munda. Lukwago yakimanyi nti system eriwe agibenefitingamu. Lukwago yakimanyi nti ye system eriwo ainenge jagifunamu. Chovula bati yawogira ku Bobi Wine ya mentioning akona linya Bobi anywhere. Kubanga yamanyi wafunya mu bine ebyekisiru bivurugwe biriwo mu Kampala bikisimanyi bagenda kutema wano, simanyi bagenda yiwo kino kizimbe, simanyi bagenda yiwo wali, simanyi kubanga inenge jabifunamu. Woba wesiga Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu agenda kuba president wo. Lwaki towagira muntu gwasonze konti agenda kuba Lord Mayor. Chokambe cha Lord Mayor kisinge cha Bobi Wine kyali running zetu. Let's stop being dense. Ndeka tulizo ningenga abantu bagenda ku kusomero. Ni uba wakuma mupitu with all due respect. Kino kira biwa. Ni uba wakule olikula hivyo kununga wakuma mupifu with all due respect. Kino kira biwa. President wafe yali yesimeo ku dictator kufuka president wa Uganda. Era kyetopashuinga saazi n'okumuteeka ntebe mu ntebe. Akugambye nti nondera Lord Mayor Nabira Sempala. Wali wagira Bobi Wine's ideology okufuka president wo, but you don't accept Bobi Wine's idea of Nabira being the Lord Mayor. Have you got? Our reasoning yo mba sijitegeera mba kulabanga ante. Ma kulabanga ndiga. Kyagulanyi Ssebo wayagala omuinteresting n'oba president. No mutikinga, no mupostinga, no mutukuba, no mulaga buli wamu. Bobi Wine president wa. Naffe nga tumwagala. Bobi Wine president wa. No tujukiza buli kaseera. Buli kaseera no kwata simu no tujukiza ffe. Naffe abamwagala. Bobi Wine president wa. Naffe tumwagala. Era we are here because of Bobi Wine. Before the coming of Bobi Wine, I wasn't anywhere on this Facebook speaking about the current affairs of my country. If it wasn't Bobi Wine, the person that we are connected to, the leader of our generation, the leader that we can understand, the person who speaks what we know, the person who thinks for us after, the person who thinks for Solomon, that I will also have a kid like Subi, the person who thinks for that generation, that we need to make things good for Subi, we need to make things good for Solomon. Museveni doesn't think about making things good for an old man like Muhozo of 55 years. But we are into this because of our president, the generational president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, yajja n'abiyingiramu. I see so many people who have come on board to fight the dictatorship. Nga ne wamubuuza mu 2016 nti vice president yani nga tamumanyira mumanya nti ye sekandi nga yali mu bibye amera okulinda luyimba lwa Diamond Platinum. Very many young girls are here in Dubai, where Qatar, Sharjah, Saudi Arabia nga yabera okulinda luyimba lwa Diamond Platinum olupya. Right now they are interested in listening to the current affairs of their country. They're interested in listening to what is happening on ground. Right now I would be sleeping. So this was really town is I would be in bed, resting for tomorrow. But you spend this little time to come here and speak to Ugandans and share your knowledge about the things the atrocities that are happening in our country. Tetuliwa kuyisa bivulu. Tetuliwa musimanyi Museveni agenda kuwa yo milioni 5. Tetuliwa nti Bobi Wine yakusubiza yo milioni 15. No. We are here for our country. Tetuliwa nga balikuwa gwe bajja mu diru zaabwe musimanyi kola wangulaawo kati nga tukubira essimu musimanyi nga kire kizime nga tukimenya nga tukuwayo zino. We are not here for that. This is a calling. Whoever you see in this thing right now speaking about it, it's a calling. And this is the right time that all the generation of our time should rise and speak about the atrocities of their country at any cost. Oba mutunonya tutta, oba mugenda tutegera New York okwekalakasa, oba mugenda tuttira, but this is our time. This is the generation that has to speak up loud and we must be heard. Katosobola kungamba ng'oli eyo ndiga. Ng'omusajja ata mentioning ankona linnya Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert anyway nerero nakola tweet nti yali Lord Mayor nga Kyagulanyi akyali mu ghetto and he will still be Lord Mayor. Omusajja wakola tweet eyo gotowuli gwe yava mu ghetto ulanga you demoralized. He's demoralizing all the ghetto youths. Fenna bava mu ghetto abatoba abakulira mu kakajjo abakulira mu zone ya Mugwanya abakulira mu zone ya Matayo fenna lukwaga abatadde wansi abakulira mu zone 2 omanye yo Muyenga tewali zone Muyenga teri zone 4 feze twakuliramu Muyenga ero osangayo Charlie Drive mosangayo zi Huntington Lane asura wali ku Huntington Lane byosange eyo kati fa bakulira mu Kawogo zone 2 oshitegera ife fa bakulira mu Kawogo zone 2 lukwaga abana tubaze mu magezi mbuye he was Lord Mayor before even Bobi Wine became a member of parliament. Yagandi, he was Lord Mayor when Bobi Wine was still in the ghetto. Don't you feel demoralized? Is it a crime to be born in the ghetto? Is it a crime to live in the ghetto? Is it a crime to start from the ghetto? Nola wendiga mbunaye bannange lukwago nakoze naye bannange lukwago ne botugamba nti gwe lead council w'omusango gwe tugende wabira Museveni. That is another story. We shall pay you. Wano Greater Boston eswana okusafula emisango bwegityo nga 15 ne boyagala kawumbi Greater Boston nsoloka kusondera mu myezi 3 ntuka kuwa. We shall pay you. Ba wameri bawamiri bana alemererwa basegono ne balemererwa ne batugamba Lukwago yero yasigaddeyo katisazi n'agenda bawoleza okuwangula omusango guno. We shall pay you. Naye zino ensonga tusooka tukugjewo ku bwa road mayor tuteekawo Nabiira president waffe gwe yasonzeeko. Nze bino ebya road mayor saagaana byogerako kubanga one day one time kwegamba I had so many stories about bano bonna bakandidate abali mu race. Naye ne ngamba president wange ansomedde ali. I've heard so many stories about Ragadi. I've heard so many stories about Chameleon. I've heard so many stories about Nabiira. I've heard so many stories about Lukwago. Ne president wange yesonze kwani nti Nabiira. Tuendele. Omusajja ali incarcerated. Endigana ye jeri. E posting ekifaananyi kya Lukwago. Have you heard Lukwago speak about Bobi Wine anywhere? Have you heard Lukwago even make a comment about the atrocities that were happening during the campaigns? Have you ever heard Lukwago speak as an opposition candidate? Nabayo candidate and opposition Lukwago no. The knocking off very bad. At least make a statement. The shooting of this person was very bad. The shooting of Ashraf Kasi was very bad. That force was uncalled for. The beating, Bobi Wine is sleeping in the car. Bobi Wine manhandled and arrested several times, airlifted from Kalangala. Bobi Wine blocked on the way because Lukwago awada ina amanyi sazi na galo di mayor. Lukwago can sit a press conference as big as he can. Bobi Wine bamusibiti yosamuna na simanyi mwale putongo. Bamutute bamusude kwa iwe yedira. Lukwago mali muvudeyo kanga ulanga Lukwago mali muudeko na abayo na agama mulu. This has happened because bachifunamu endigada sobola kitegererie yo musimanyi Lukwago woba atinga ekifaananyi kya Lukwago ngenda ku blockingira wonzi tojenda kuddamu kulaba ku post yangu wa the name woba atinga ekifaananyi kya Lukwago ngenda ku blockinga today nze kubulira I don't deal with nuisance. Several kujiringanyo abantu bali dense abatasobola kutula analyzing ebintu mu brain yongo omuntu ategeera. If you cannot sit and analyze things like someone who has brain, Facebook yange ondabyeko. I have over 2,000 friend requests pending. Ingenda kujja onteke omulala. I'm going to block you. I put someone else. I add someone else. Kubanga no kulaba bulabe kifaananyi kya Lukwago ng'okitiimye omusimanya at least this man tumweya kaloozaako kubiri mpulira bubi. Simu bubi naye mpulira bubi. Mpulira bubi. Okitegera. At least muteke woyo gutumanyi nti Kyagulanyi ajja muteminga Kyagulanyi ajja muyita mugambe nyabo no tukoitu nyabo kino baki diru zonna ezisinga bazikukusiza mu Kampala omu diru zonna ez'okugoba abantu bazikukusiza mu Kampala buli kimu abeerusanja byonna biyita mu Kampala excuse me bamenya abantu byonna biyita mu Kampala buli kimu biyita mu Kampala. Kubanga, those are the confusers that you have in society. Ogenze bulungi nyo wesi tudde ogenze mu FDC otude mu FDC bakuletedde omuzira bakubozeza owagirani kuba president notunula no sirika Lord Mayor wagirani kuba president no sirika muina candidate nge FDC ya Amuliyati. You don't want to mention Amuliyati. Bakubuzo wagirani mwina candidate abe FDC. You don't want to send him pagiramu yati kuba FDC kuba president. Bakubuza Kyagulanyi mwagira obutise matama. These are confusers who benefit from the system of the dictator. Lukwago is a confuser. Lukwago is a confused confuser. Omubuzo wagira Amuliyati nedda, owagira Bobi Wine nedda, owagira Katumba nedda, owagira ani? Lukwago is a confused confuser. Ali awo kutusi bakatambala because ye bawagira abamanyi basalimu saleba bawagira batumukabula ba dictator bawagira abamanyi bajamula balinga ina presidential candidate gwa backing abamunyigire tumumanyi oyo musajja. If you've benefited from the system, if the shoe fits, wear it. Please, it's your turn to wear the shoe that you created to fit you. It's high time. Enga tuwoba wajegulira jambali. Tonyina jitya. Yes, what this what did that? You're fighting for democracy. Mugamba fawe FDC twagala Uganda. Simanyi fawe FDC twagala kuchusa bintu. Bakute n'obululu. So now government ya mu FDC amuli ati wanaba for president mugenda kuba mukuba bululu. I thought you're supposed to emulate. You're supposed to act by example. Bakute n'obululu mu kibani bujjudde. Now ogamba mbu simanyi twagala kwata buyinza tugobe dictator Museveni tubeewo kati lukwago ne Museveni njawulirwa mukuba bululu. It's the same thing. Muna muliao kuba bululu. Muna muliwa biwabulu. Lukwago ne dictator njawulu mwineriwa. Muna muliwa biwabulu. Bakute n'obululu obukukusa. Basebo ne banyago. Nze sigenda kwemoola. Nze sigenda kutiririra. Obangu angwira ku nabira. Wempangula mpangulira ku nabira. But we must win. Lukwago yatuzala ennyo. Musimanyi, when Bobby Wine was in the ghetto, I was a road mayor. What's the meaning of that? What are you insinuating? What are you showing to the ghetto youths? And if we don't have a say, we don't count in the society. We don't count in the society. So ina makulu. Niba nayi amazima oli sente z'omuntu tosobola kulizoninga. Uli sente z'omuntu tosobola kulizoningira obeera ngo reasoninga bya laws ayagala. Obanga, let me tell you what Lukwago in 2006. 2011. Lukwago in 2011. You were people's dying. 2016, 2011 yakalweka gwa.
Akalwe bukoma nsimbi waliwo abatadde abalondesa ku mudumu gw'emmundu awamu okulonda kusaziddwamu NRM obutawangula mu Buganda. Katikkiro agamba si kikolwa kya busosoze. Buganda erina ebigiruma ate akalulu mu Kampala abeesimbyewo bonna buli omu awera. Okugatta obululu mu Kampala kugenda kubeera kololo era eno Habadziwa gyali nnyo twagala atubuulire oba waliwo obululu obwatuuse. Habadziwa, Habat Habat tatuulira?
Naye waddeko Kololo wali ng'alindiridde ebigenda okuva mu kulonda. Kansoke nkomewo gy'oli Sandra n'ekiwala ofune abali mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo n'oluvannyuma ojja kudda wano n'abatulaba twongere okubabuulira ebinaaba bigenda mu maaso wano e Kololo.
Okay, kakati katweyunge ate ku Juma Kirya. Juma ali Mbale. Juma Kirya oli butereevu, tubuulire Mbale kiri kitya?
Mukibuga Mbale essaawa yonna yonna okubala obululu kugenda tandika okukolebwa wano ku State Hall y'Embale. Ab'ebyokwerinda tebanaba kutandika kutuusa wano ebivudde mu kulonda naye ng'essaawa yonna balayika banatera okuyingirawo kuba akulira ebyokulonda mu disitulikiti eno oba mu kibuga kino Charles Robero ategeezezza nti we bituukira bagenda okutandikira okukola. Mbale ebadde nzikakama olwaleero nga balonda abakulembeze ab'enjawulo mu kitundu kino. Mbale erimu divisions 2 okuli Northern ne Industrial. Tulingiridde ebigenda okuvaayo era tujja bikutuusaako gye bujjako mu maaso awo. Kankomewo gy'oli Sandra.
Kale webale Juma Kirya. Twagala tweyunge ku Solomon Kawesa. Solomon ali Masaka era naye twagala atusigire ekifaananyi kiki ekiri Masaka. Solomon.
Erya city ene ye Masaka era nga wenjogerera bino okugatta obululu ku polling stations ko kumaze okubeera nga kuggalawo bulungi era nga ekiri mu kukolebwa kati kwe kubeera nga bukuŋŋaanyizibwa mu kifo kino we bugenda okubeera nga bwonna bugattibwa omulundi gumu tumanye ani muwanguzi w'olunaku wano mu city mu disitulikiti ne Greater Masaka yonna. Tujja kuba twongera okubikutuusaako byonna mu maaso eyo ne mu kiro wonna tujja kubeerawo waneeno naye ku ssaawa eno Sandra kankomewo gy'oli tugende mu maaso n'ebiri eyo ate eno tujja kuddayo edda.
Wabale nnyo Solomon Kawesa ali Mivule ali Wakiso. Ali tubulire embeera etya ku Tali Center e Wakiso. Wabale nnyo Solomon Kawesa ali Mivule ali nga tawulikise bulungi tuleka tujja kumuddirako mu maaso awo. Kale tugenda tandika butereevu akawungeezi abo bonna asasa ffe tujja kubadde batubulire biki ebigenda maaso mu kubala obululu. Oli ku kawungeezi.
Okugatta obululu bw'abeesimbyewo ku bifo ky'obwa meeya bakansala abalondebwa obutereevu okukiika mu lukiiko lw'ekibuga mu Mbale kugenda mu maaso so nga n'obululu busombebwa okuva mu bitundu eby'enjawulo okutwalibwa ku kitebe ky'enkomeredde gye birina okulangirirwa. Okubala kuno nga tekunaba kubeerawo akakiiko k'ebyokulonda enkoko kaagikutte mumwa okugaba ebikozesebwa mu kulonda okwetooloola ekibuga. Kyokka obudde nga bukedde abalondesa wadde babadde batuuse dda n'ebikozesebwa abalonzi bazze kasoobo era essaawa gye zigenderedde abalondesa balabiddwako nga batudde butuuzi. Mu divisioni ya Northern mu kibuga Mbale abantu bagenze okutuuka we balondera nga obukongo obuliyo ate si bwe bwabo bwe balina okulonderako ekisanyalaza okulonda naddala ku kifo ky'obwakansala.
lwaki wantu balonda obanga tebagala babuuzeeyo bwona nja kulonda wamu
kitumazeemu amaanyi tumaze okuspendinga sente nyingi ba agents tubawadde sente ba mobilizer nabana ba supervisinga
tetunakutandika kulonda lwakuba obululu bwe twafunye obwavudde obakyala n'abasajja ba LC5 twabadde ba polling station eno wadi yaffe general yonna.
Kino akulira ebyokulonda mu kibuga Mbale Charles Robero kimwaliriza okuyimiriza ebyokulonda kwa bakansala abakiiko obutereevu mu lukiiko.
Zibuzibu mu Northern Division wokka ku Northern Division Mbale City where tusanze obululu nga buli mixed up obwo east buli mu west so netu kyokka obululu obulala bwa Industrial Division tebulina buzibu n'obwa City Lord Mayor. So obululu bwa Northern Division ku bakazi n'abasajja tubadde tuwimirizizaako tugonjoole ekizibu ekyo.
Ono agamba nti akakiiko k'ebyokulonda e Kampala kajja kusalawo ddi okulonda kuno lwe kunaabeerawo ng'ebintu biteredde.
Ekizibu ekyo isi egenda kuannouncinga olunaku bwe tugenda kulonda bano bakansalazi kyokka bameeya so tukyatambula mu maaso bameeya bo tebali n'obuzibu tulonda bulonzi.
Babavuganya batubuulidde ebirowoozo byabwe ku kutabulatabula okubadde mu bukonge buno.
Wakati ogamba nti osaze musaawe ne ate otegeke oluddako abantu bakoowu era bagenda kwesanga nga turnout yatebeera sookuwa nga bwolaba kati nga bweri.
Naye kati delays zino to affectinga fundamentally ate zi affectinga n'eggwanga kubanga kati these people are going to be paid for the time they have not worked. So ekyo nakyo kitu affectinga nnyo tusaba nti next time balina okukola due diligence.
Wadde ng'okulonda tekujjumbiddwa nnyo byo byokwerinda bibadde binywevu ddala. Ekibuga Mbale kirina abalonzi 14,774 era ng'okulangirira abawanguzi mu bitundu okulonda gye kubadde kusuubirwa okubeerawo olwaleero. Juma Kiria, NTV Mbale.
Kabalenye Jumakiria okulonda mu Mbale City bwe kutambudde okutwaliza wamu naye nga waliwo okusaziddwamu mu Northern Division nga nayo yemuko byebikola Mbale City. Kati soka tulabe Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga kyayogedde ku byogerwa nti okuwangulwa kwa NRM mu Buganda kwesigamizibwa ku busosoze. Katikkiro ero abadde yetabye mu kulonda okw'abakulembeze b'ebitundu nga alondedde mu bitundu by'Erweza.
Ndaba abantu si bangi nnyo nga bwe kyali mu kulonda president n'ababaka ba parliament. Naye okulonda kuno nako kukulu kubanga obukulembeze butambulira mu mitendera. Awo nno nze ku district kubanga era bingi nnyo ebyetaaga okutereeza mu district eno ey'e Wakiso mwe tuli. Bwe ntyo mbakubiriza mulonde n'emitendera egiddako egy'amagombolola mugende mulonde abantu abalimu ensa abayinza okutugasa. Kakati mu Buganda mulimu ensonga nnyingi. Nze ze nnyinza okulowooza lwaki okulonda kwavuddeyo nga bwe kwavuddeyo bwe kuti. Ebyobulamu, ebyenjigiriza, obwavu, emirimo, enguudo, ebintu bingi, obuli bw'enguzi, naye obaddeyo n'ebintu ebirala ng'okutta abantu. Abantu battiddwa nnyo wano mu Buganda. Waliwo abattibwa mu mwezi ogw'E11, waliwo abantu abadde battibwa, abakazi bawambibwa, ebisinga nga biri wano mu Buganda. Waliwo kibba ttaka, ezo zonna nsonga. Naye tulina n'ebintu ebirala bye tubanja. Twagala federo, myaka 3 mu emeka tugibanja, n'ebintu ebirala bingi weebiri. Kale ndowooza nti ebyo bimu ku byavuddeko abantu obutalonda NRM mu Buganda. Era okusinga okujjayo ensonga z'amawanga ekitali kituufu n'akamu batunulire mu nsonga ezo. Ekyamazima balonze n'ebusoga eyo waliwo gye batalonze NRM n'ebusiya nawa ebyo byonna sirowooza nti bya mawanga. Naye ate mu ngeri y'emu Mwankole balonze President Museveni kati abo obateeka mu ttuluba ki? Awo nno si bya mawanga. Ekyetaaga okukola kwe kutunula ku nsonga ezo ezivaako abantu obutaba bamativu ne zikolwako.
Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga ng'ayogera ku kyokugamba nti NRM yawanguddwa mu Buganda olw'obusosoze nti Abaganda baleseemu obusosoze. Kale abalonzi mu Kampala Central bakokolomidde gavumenti olw'obutabawa lunaku lwa kuwummula basobole okwetaba mu kulonda kw'abakulembeze ba gavumenti ez'ebitundu. Abasobodde okwetaba mu kulonda kuno olwaliro bagamba nti singa olunaku luno lubadde lwa kuwummula oba oliawo n'omuwendo gw'abalonzi gwandisinzewo kwogwo ogulabiddwako olwaliro.
Obutafaananako n'okulonda kw'omukulembeze w'eggwanga ssaako n'ababaka ba paalamenti okwaliwo wiiki ewedde oyinza okugamba nti okulonda kwa Lord Mayor ow'e Kampala ssaako ne bakansala be tekujjumbiddwa bulungi ku mulundi guno ate nga n'abalondesa nabo baluddewo okutandika okulondesa.
Kulonda kwabadde kwa ssaawa emu kati essaawa 3 tebannaba na kuteekateeka kulonda.
Abalala bonna baatandise naye ffe wano tetunnaba kutandika. Tubabuuza timulindeeko.
Tetujja kubeera wano nga emirimu gyaffe gifa era bwe tubawadde eddakiika 3 tugenda kwekyanga tutambule tugende.
Obudde weebwe okuba n'abantu batono nemanyi tugenda kulonda era we tunaatuukira mu budde nga tumaliriza.
Abo bamu ku balonzi abakedde okutuuka ku kifo awalondebwa mu zooni ya Muzaana mu Kisenyi 1 ekisangibwa mu Kampala Central. Bano okukeera babadde bazze kulonda Lord Mayor ssaako ne bakkansala abatuula mu kikolwa KCCA. Mu bitundu ebirala ebya Kampala Central okuli Kamwenge ne Mengo abalondesa wamu n'abakuuma obululu bw'abeesimbyewo bakanze kulinda abalonzi wabula nga buteerere.
Kyandiyambidde ddala kyandiyambye kubanga abamu bali ku mirimu. Nina ne baganda bange ku mirimu gyabwe tebabawadde this day off because they know the only public holiday was when they were voting for the president.
Wadde abalonzi babadde batono nnyo naye ebiragiro ebyateekebwawo okwewala ekirwadde kya COVID-19 tebigobereddwa bwe ziweze essaawa 10 okulonda ne kuggalibwawo era n'okubala obululu obukubiddwa ne kutandika. Joyce Nakato, NTV, Kamwenge.
Abawagizi ba Lira and Alebtong eyeesimbyewo okuvuganya ku kifo kya kansala agenda okukiikira ettendekero lino ku lukiiko lwa KCCA. Balumiriza gwali naye ku mbiranye Juliet Mugisha okuyingiza abavubuka abatali ku nkala z'abalonzi nga balumiriza ne poliisi okubaako kyekubira. Ye Juliet Mugisha gwe balumiriza ebimwogerwako abyeganye.
Wadde omulundi guno okulonda tekubaddeemu bbugumu nga bwekyali ku babaka ba paalamenti n'okulonda omukulembeze w'eggwanga. Makerere abayizi n'abantu abalala abalonderayo bawezeeko. Mu kifo awalonderwa ekya Dag Hall wabaddewo ensiitaano wakati w'abawagizi ba Lira and Alebtong ne poliisi bwe basikaasikanye nga poliisi egezaako okukwata abamu ku ba agenti ba Nyanjula. Nga waliwo abavubuka munnaabwe gwe balemesezza poliisi okutwala.
And the security forces and then the EC is conniving. Here they are.
Kigambibwa ti poliisi ebadde eyitiddwa mu kifo kino okukwata abavubuka abagambibwa okubeera nga tebabadde ku nkala z'abo ababadde bagiyisa okutaasa embeera.
So tubadde tukifollowinga up kesi gye tusoose okulaba yeeyo gye tusinza okulaba yeeyo ya ku Douglas abantu babiri ku Dag Hamas Joel ku Hall bantu babiri balonze naye nga tebali mu register naye bwe tugezezaako okuyita poliisi ndowooza poliisi yo ebadde emanyi ekibadde kigenda mu maaso ezebuzi nekola ki nebuzaabuza nekubatiya gaasi.
Wano poliisi eriko omuvubuka agenti wa Nyanjula gwekutte nemuteeka mu mmotoka eno ebadde etambuliramu abakuumaddembe. Obunkenke bweyongedde nga abavubuka bagezaako okulemesa mmotoka eno ebadde eteereddwamu omuvubuka munnaabwe era ng'ekiddiridde gabadde masasi mu bbanga ne tiya gaasi. Nyanjula nga wa FDC alumiriza munne Juliet Mugisha wa NRM okwenyigira mu
Erina sente ze balina nabo ate ebibadde neyo sibaddeewo nti wansindise sente era ekyo nkivumirira mu butuufu ng'omukulembeze omutuufu si kirungi kukuleetinga embeera nga si nnungi so si bituufu sebo.
Gerard Ruyima, NTV Akawungezi.
16 ze zaakayita ku ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi okugatta obululu mu bitundu by'eggwanga ebitali bimu ebadde okulonda kutandise era nga abeesimbyewo balinze ebinaakuvaamu okuyita mu kiro ekikeesa olunaku olw'enkya. Okugatta obululu mu Kampala kugenda kubeera kololo era eno Habadziwa gyali twagala tumweyungeko atubuulire embeera nga bweyimiridde. Habadziwa.
Webale nnyo Sandra Nakiwala n'abatulaba nate okukomawo wano ekkololo nga wenjogerera bino ebivudde mu kulonda oba obululu mu bitundu ebya Kampala ebyenjawulo butandise okutuuka wano ng'obusoose okutuuka bwa Nakasero Kittante nga mu dakiika mbale emabega butuuse wano era ng'okugatta obululu kujja kuba kutandika essaawa zonna. Naye mu kaseera kano njagala twegattibweko omukulu Frederick Muwaya ng'ono ye regional election officer wano mu bitundu ebya Buganda. Mukulu Frederick njagala otumenyeremeremu obululu obutuuka wano kiki kye tuzzaako?
Obululu bwe bugenda nga bututuukako wano waliwo omukolo ogulina okukolebwa returning officer owe division eyo oba wabanga bwa Lord Mayor eba erina okukolebwa omukolo ogulina okukolebwa returning officer atwala Kampala yonna.